time. Ciao.
Hey guys, welcome back. Yeah, you got a half an hour extra this afternoon. Big thanks to Trader Pride and Tony, under the weather today, stepping up to fill in for a lack of talent around here so far today. Hope your afternoon's going well. Very, very red afternoon for the market, right across the board. Individual names. If you look at the market overall, it's, yeah, ugly. Day lows essentially right now for all three of these. We're just coming up to 2% actually on the S&P, 1.6 for the Dow, 2.5 and then some. For the NASDAQ, ugly. TSX, Brazil, crude oil, all downside big time. Remember, crude was down 3% at one point. It has since reclaimed a lot of that. Bitcoin still basically flat on the day. Ethereum, ugly as well. 6.5% for Ethereum on top of what happened at the end of last week. That's the board right now. Not good overall. Pretty red right across the entire thing. Mosaic up 3% here. CF and ALB positive in the materials group. Pretty much everything else downside in a big way. It's the tech group that's leading, as we saw this morning. You can see not a single positive stock in the tech sector right now. Software names lead, semiconductors, hardware equipment makers, all downside. There's one green name in the retail group right now. Outside of that, consumer discretionary stocks are under big time pressure. A lot of negativity in industrials as well. Generac here, 5.5%. SWK, IR to name a few. GE, 3.8%. It goes on and on. FedEx here, UAL, AAL, all the travel names getting hit. Banks are getting hit. Healthcare names getting hit. You get the picture. Netflix is down 6.25% off that downgrade to sell we saw this morning from CFRA or CFFR, something like that. I'll double check. Anyways, it's been a pretty ugly day, pretty ugly afternoon for the market coming off of the sell-off that we saw going back to Friday. So back-to-back big down days here after the June to last week's rally comes to an end, it would appear. We do get more inflation data coming out this week. We do get Fed Chair Powell coming up on Friday. That's going to be the benchmark. I believe it's Friday afternoon. I'll double check the time exactly, but Fed Chair Powell headlining at Jackson Hole this year with his speech. Let's jump into a bit of a look back as to what we were talking about in the pre-market. I'll give you a hint. Had a lot to do with AMC because AMC was getting killed off of this APE release that did get open fairly quickly coming off the open this morning. Anyways, I'll pass it off to Neil here. He's here to have a look at one of his trades.
Yes, sir. Trade of the day brought to you by Day Trade of the World, as always. AMC this morning. Now, as everybody understands, there was that APE issue, that dividend issue, where you get the new equity. APE opened up pretty promptly early on, but the key thing was the mechanics of the trade. So every AMC shareholder was going to get APE, and essentially the value of your shares was you get one AMC share and one of APE, essentially like a 2-for-1 type of split. It was a key thing to keep in mind. The indicated open was based off of the 1802 close price that AMC on my 60-minute, you can see it closed up on Friday right at 1802. So you had an indicated open of $9.01 on APE. So it's really important to understand that if one was trying to formulate a trade idea off of the open, and we had some pre-market trades to the downside we can get into, but I think it's about that initial long, why we like the notion of it and where some levels might come into play. So if you looked at what AMC was doing when it made that double top last week, you did have this nice 21 base where it had all kinds of support. There was a big breakdown at that level. You had 20, which was a breakout. Not a ton of support there, but it was at least significant enough for an earlier break. So when you start to think about that $9 open price that you were trading around on APE right at the open, it gave you a couple of equivalent prices. At 20, and you worked at 11 and 9, I like the 11 break. And then I like the 12. That 21 level was pretty significant. So in my mind, the only two things I was looking for off of the open for longs was if it could take out that 11 and APE was going to hold that 9 base. And then if APE was going to hold that 9, can we also look at that 12 level for a breakout? Here's where things got really, really tricky. Once APE was opened, it could not stay open for more than a few seconds and then would go into a halt. Then it would open back up and then go into another halt. So essentially what this trade turned into was so long as ape was not going into a down halt and your level was breaking, go long, hold the long, and then go long. And then the second there was a turn on ape where everything looked like it was good, there's your 12th break, it looks like it's about to squeeze to the upside, in control, APE starts heading downside, and there's an absolute destruction candle followed by others. Since then, the only trade has been to the short side. And as a matter of fact, it's been only going sideways ever since. So there were some shorts we liked in the pre-market, but after everything that happened early on with APE and AMC, it was just a lot easier to move on from that trade. The squeeze did happen, but once ape couldn't get going, and it just trended down the entire time. The only long you could have was in and out. You could not try to hold it. You could not try to get a moonshot. As a matter of fact, what you needed to do was reverse and go short and then go with that trend. Off the open, there was nothing wrong with it, plenty of momentum. But you couldn't fight the rampant selling that was going on in APE. There was absolutely nothing that could be done. It was always going to drag it back down. So you had to be able to stay away from that long. Once the open turned itself around, it was almost like sitting there trading with watching something as a leading indicator that couldn't even stay open for more than 30 seconds or so. Pretty volatile, but at least there was a couple of jailbreak longs to get in and get out and call it a day. That's your trade of the day, brought to you by Day Trader World, as always.
Great move for AMC today. Downside, obviously, with APE all over that. Some of you, as you heard on Friday, probably got the watch list delivered right to your inbox this morning. We're happy to start doing that. If you missed the announcement going back to Friday, guys, we're going to roll it out in stages. So we're doing a little bit one week, and then a little bit one week, and then a little bit more the next week in an effort to avoid any kind of delays or technical issues we might run into. So there was a batch this morning that got the watch list right in their inbox. So that's exciting. Hope that worked out well for you guys. Here is Drug, still making moves to the upside. 230 ends up holding as support here, trying to bounce back up. Just saw Drug as on a couple of volume alerts just went off there. Anyways, let's continue the conversation here, guys, because we were in a meeting for most of the lunch hour, and Sean, you made a great point in the sense of, this, and Neil, you touched on it as well there in that review. This APE dividend ends up being essentially a split on this stock. And maybe there was a lot of people this morning in the pre-market, let's call it how it is. There was probably a lot of people in the pre-market that had no clue what was going on. And we saw a significant amount of selling pressure on AMC to start the day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, we were. Hey, what's up, everybody? Yeah, no, we were in the meeting, and we were talking, like I was saying, with the producer there, and we were talking about AMC, and of course I told him I lost $10 million and everything like that, and that was a lot of fun. And then more about it was, yeah, they took
Make sure you tell
he
me
took a zero off my paycheck immediately. But
he didn't
no,
really lose $10 million.
No, all jokes aside, I didn't, right? So my trade's going to get broken and everything's fine. So, but the point is that's honestly, and I don't know. Here's my sticky note right here. All I said was short. I said short. I said, and I even said here there's some confusion about the ape shares, right? And I think that we were confused. I'm pretty sure most people were, and that's why I even remember saying, like, okay, I was called out, Brendan, a little bit, and you and myself and everybody in Twitter. It was like, can we really figure out what's going on here? And it was more like a split, right? Because all of a sudden, Adam Aaron over the weekend there mentioned that, hey, guys, the new AMC is going to be formed. So the minute he said this, should have been realized it, is going to be formed from two parts now, the AMC shares and the ape shares. So effectively splitting itself, right? Because if you had AMC shares, you come to my chart here, you're down 38% today, but you say, hey, that plus 1130 here, plus whatever ape is at right now. Again, so I have to tell everybody I'm in TMS paper trading.
Oh, it looks just as messed up in live.
My account was unable to get open, but even if you just go, is $7 plus 11 and change, because everybody has one share today of AMC and 1 ape share. So your account today, and it might not get settled today. I would say everybody that's panicking with your broker, give them a couple days, but for sure phone them anyways. I'm sure they're swamped. But it's going to be a combination of both. And I think that that's really what threw everybody off. So you could see instantly a lot of halting, a lot of chaos here. This is where I got shut down on a bad liquidation here, which is fine. Like I said, it was broken, and the price I got was, I think it was $11.99 or whatever the reopen price was there. So all is well. But yeah, definitely short opportunities here today at 12.50. So I just want everybody to understand that when you're looking at AMC today and you're down that 37%, sure, it might look like that in your account, and it's right, but you should get those other shares dripping in the next day or two, not speaking specifically about your broker, but that's why you want to definitely ask them. So I do realize it probably screwed people on PDT and things like that lost more money than they thought or didn't have the funds available to liquidate and put somewhere else. So yeah, it does really suck today, Neil, because I feel like a lot of traders would have came in not knowing that was going to happen, got the little shell shock this morning, and hopefully now, as I'm much more calm, I think that the market can calm down and figure this out, and now it makes more sense.
Yeah, well, one of the things I wanted to show in the trade of the day, which I couldn't because I don't know what happened when I closed my chart and opened it back up to AMC, but for whatever reason, I'm missing, like the pre-market just went all haywire, and suddenly it's only showing prints at 18, when everyone knows it was trading at 12. But the whole, what I was trying to get at with the open at $9 for APE, if you split them in two, so it's 9 and 9 from the $18 close, look on Thursday when we were trading at 21, right? Like AMC was just grinding to the downside all week. But on Thursday, we were long in front of 21, support into 22, and the second it broke, it was flipped to the short and short the rest of the day. And then you had basically barcode around 18. So when we opened up at 12, which 9 and 12, that's 21, I came in saying long in front of 12, 12 breaks, go short. So the only thesis I had was, okay, look at those same key levels. If it can support that price, fair enough. It can try to go to the long side, but once it gets below it, it's essentially trading off the same level that we're looking at on Thursday when it had that monster move. And then, of course, now you just have the trend down and just follow APE because you have to follow the trend to the downside, and APE was only going down. But try to keep it as simple as possible. And yes, it did jailbreak initially at the open, so that 12 break was good. But if I had gone back to that same thesis and then just gone short, stayed short at once it broke 12, like we did in the pre-market, I mean, Bob's your uncle at that particular point. However, there was the glitch that happened to Sean, and I like. At the end of the day, probably nothing would have happened. But in the time, I didn't even want to be trading AMC in that moment. So I was sort of backing off from it. I still think there's going to be opportunities potentially. Now that I see it get off the schneid, I said it's not doing anything. It's barcoding. But it is bouncing off that $11 price that it couldn't seem to break, right? So 11, 20 bucks. Now I think 11, from earlier on, 11 would have been that $20 level, but now 11 is more like that $17.50 to $18 level of support from Friday. So you are having to do some quick math if you want to try to trade it technically, but it's been respecting those bottoms. Like if you look at that bottom at $17.50 and then go look at the price of APE right now when we're getting to those lows at $6.50, I mean, you're essentially, when you're bouncing off this low, you're really bouncing off Friday's low. Right? So understand, like, some of this is working. If you're trading AMC right now, you better be watching APE and doing that quick math. It has given you some trading opportunities off of last week's levels. It just hasn't been a simple trade. I think for most people, like Sean said, it was a little bit confusing, but once you understood the concept of what was happening, yeah, there were some pretty clean opportunities there.
Other things that were happening in squeeze land this morning. One of those being Bed Bath & Beyond, obviously huge mover last week. We learned on Friday, or get confirmation on Friday, that Ryan Cohen did exit his position. So BBBY down huge. We come in this morning, it was down even more. Continues its trend throughout the day. I mean, there's a ton of these still kind of working their way back to earth, guys, after quite the rally over the past couple of weeks, obviously.
Yo, okay, so I don't even know what he was talking about.
It's Bed Bath & Beyond.
Okay, Bed Bath & Beyond there. So, yeah, as a shout out to Michael Noss, I'm talking to him here a little bit as well. Okay, so I just went long on AMC, trying to respect that bottom of 1070, so we'll see if that comes through. But yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond has been a wild ride once again here today. And it's like, it's kind of like high tides lift all ships, right? So Bed Bath & Beyond today gets the experience the other way. As AMC tries to figure itself out and some of these squeeze plays come back in, come on. There it is here. A big move off the open again, sort of off a lot of that, up to 1150, and then straight back down now 956. This is a very low spot for Bed Bath & Beyond, considering last week at this time we were talking about $27, $28, and absolutely nothing has changed as far as the business is concerned, yet you get Bed Bath & Beyond down here to 950. So you know what? I mean, if you want to play these games, honestly, where Ryan Cohen is your god and you just want to go long anytime there's news coming out about him and different positions, then that's great. And you might be at a spot again right now, because honestly, if I was somebody trying to manipulate a stock, and look where the level is again. You're right back down here. I think this is a very key level for anybody that's holding shares right now. 875 to 850, where you had this gap up. So basically it started at about $8, gapped up here to 9, and then it sort of went on its way. But when it came back in and fell a couple times, we got up to $12, $13 here, fell to 850, got back up to 1160, fell again to 9, right? And right now we're running, this is just a 20-minute chart. Like, this is how active it's been. You know, now you run in again on that dip. That's $9 again there this morning, right? And so, I don't know. I think if you're going to trade this, and again, I don't mean like follow Ryan Cohen. I just feel like if there is going to be a strategy behind Bed Bath & Beyond, you have to use the social sentiment, you have to use different indicators like that, read the Reddit boards, read some of those posts, right? And that can give you sort of a sense of what's next. So, you know, volume started picking up down here at 456. If it gets back down there, then I think people will be loading up again, hoping for something like this to happen. But for right now, for today, and for probably a little while, until we see some catalysts, like until Brendan posts somebody with a meme of something or something happening with Bed Bath & Beyond, I'm going to keep my ear to the ground, but I can't support a long until at least, you know, you test $9. I think that would be a good long into 850. Give yourself 50 cents worth of room because of what I just talked about. Otherwise, if you want to put on like a big position, you know, maybe you just feel like this is going to happen again. I really think you need to get back into a spot where earnings matter, where possible bankruptcy filings and all that. Remember, they have that bye-bye baby as well. So there's a few things that they can spin off and sort of, you know, get going here. But Bed Bath & Beyond, for sure, a bigger position necessary once you get back down to 6. But until then, I think you just play 9 long, and I'm going to do that today.
Yeah, I might actually wait for the 860. I might be more discretionary than that with the long side. I might even look at a short 10. I know that was something in the morning show I was looking for, but at this point it does need a catalyst. So I want like the perfect price if we're going long and then consolidating there, and that is 850, 860, without a doubt. There might be a chance that 10 can be any good. I tried some dip buy longs this morning. You know, some success, and then you just get your stops run. So eventually you try to hold on to anything, and it wouldn't really give any follow through. And I think that's problematic. And you had a $10 bottom, 10 and a quarter really on Friday. So I'd look to that as resistance this afternoon. We're diddling in the middle. Like if I'm talking about 860 and then 10 to 1025, that's essentially we're right in the midpoint, which is almost a no-go trade zone for me on Bed Bath & Beyond, unfortunately. There is one other squeeze stock. I still do have a piece of MindMed, so might as well just talk about what happened with MindMed, which is it failed $1. And sometimes looking at trading setups is it's not that complicated. On Friday, at about 1 o'clock, MindMed took out $1. It went all the way, bottoming at about 85 and then eventually at 82 cents. The bottom end of the channel was 90. So when it broke $1 in the pre-market and came back up and faded at 98, play was into 90. Anytime I'm looking at a trade which is sort of a carbon copy of the pattern that happened before, my anticipation that it's not going to be as good, so that it wouldn't travel as far. So I would trade it mostly down into this 90 level and then play that move. I still have some on board, but only a fraction. And then you try to hold a fraction for the low. At this point, I'm going to slap a trail on it at 85, probably get on the bid at 80 cents. But it's that $1 level. And I say this all the time, I love the $1 price level. It's such an obvious place where a lot of people have stops, and there's almost always resistance when it gets to a level like that and is weak. Had it broken out today, would I have longed 102? Sure. I probably would have taken a long breakout on the stock, but it didn't. It went the other direction. It was pretty clean short off that $1 level. on MindMed, which I'm still in. Like I said, I'm going to get on the bid at 80 cents and then see if it can't hold and break some lows, because there's room to 75 if it did.
I just have to laugh because Rob just came by again. Remember this morning we talked about Justin. Shout out to you, Justin, if you're watching. But here we go. Here's 5 or 6 Justins right here trying to figure this
Where's
out.
that from,
Broadway
though?
show here. I don't know. Is that Dorothy? I don't know what's going on here. But
Yeah, but then why is there like 6? What show is that?
I have no idea.
Oh,
Anyways, that's just pretty funny there. Thanks, Rob, for that. As we get some humor in the show today. Thanks, Rob, for that. But yeah, look. All this talk about some of these squeeze plays, I mean, there's always going to be that, the drug stock, MindMed, like Neil said. And I just think that the important thing when you're talking about some of these squeeze names is that, you follow the momentum and you don't get caught up in it. Revlon's been pretty easy when you're looking at Revlon near that, not easy, but I'm just saying like near that $10 mark, any rips up to that 10. Some of these stocks have actually given us, some guidelines to levels to look out for, 450 long, 7 long, like little things like that. But okay, just before we go on to the next thing, because we're going to talk about Chinese strength, the one trade that I had on earlier, of course, was AMD, and I mean, I got knocked out of that when I was shut down there for the day, and as we talked about that a couple times here. I'm actually up on the day. It's a profitable day trade today. The only stock we had when I got shut down, I had 2 trades, right? AMD short, which is at day's low, so and that was not, it was in the money when I got it, and then the AMC one got hit. But I'm back into AMC right now, so just watch these levels right here. I want to see what happens at this 1085 or so. So I'm going to hold it a little bit lower, but next average in will be somewhere around here. So on an 11 break, we're going to watch out for a lower move down to 1090 or so. Pick up some more, and then watch it just for you guys playing at home. Also looking out for this 1085 to come on board. So that should be really fun, man, when AMC gets down there, just to see what's up with the volume. And of course, watch out for the ape shares as well. My oil, because is this the right quote for oil, by the way? Like, I know I'm in TMS, but 89. Let me check to see if that's right, because oil was getting absolutely clocked this morning. And like I said, we were away. Yeah, it is actually. This is the right symbol for oil. So oil is right back up there to $90 and change here. This is an E-signal chart. 90. They're showing 90 flat. So yeah, I guess we're pretty close to that being right. Look at the rebound. I don't know, CLF. Yeah, light crude. Okay, so yeah, earlier this morning, man, we were down here at $87. I don't know what spiked that, unless I'm not looking at the right quote here, but light crude oil futures, okay, CL, all right, up to $90 again right now. Does that seem right? I don't know, Brent. Maybe Brendan will look on Icon there. I can look at something else. I just wanted to bring that up because I did notice that another call, and we have Oxy on there, and maybe I'll leave that, but Oxy today, man, I wrote down on the sticky note long 68.5 there. It went to 70.50, so part of me is thinking that is correct, but oil closing obviously in 35 minutes at 2:30 Eastern time, but yeah, that's an interesting move there for oil today.
It was on decent volume. It was about this time, guys. It was about 1:46 in the afternoon. There was this note on Saudi output and OPEC in general, saying they can cut output to address oil slump. So a whole bunch of volume came back into the buy side for crude. Yeah, I mean, I was mentioning it there at the beginning. 3% this morning, back to 1% now for crude oil on some OPEC talk about midday. There was a note. Yeah, let's talk some Chinese ADRs here. There was a note from the SEC once again about a whole bunch of names that were added to their possible delisting. I guess their crap list, if you want to call it that. Mogu Incorporated, Cheetah Mobile, Alibaba Group, guys, added to this delisting list. And then BOQI is another one. So that came out this afternoon as well. But not much reaction. It was almost maybe a foregone conclusion for some of these.
I think so. I think this morning the group was actually all up at the open. I think Baba was up, but it was Pinduoduo that was the strongest. And without showing it, I guess I could show a chart of PDD to maybe start out with, but it was very, very strong this morning. Gapping to the upside, as a matter of fact, holding some strength here. So this is what dragged the group up. But when PDD made its high, that's when I went and slid over to Alibaba because it was having trouble breaking its high. So that's a pretty anytime you can find like a sympathy type play, right? Like you're looking for relative strength and weakness. You know, you're not breaking a resistance level, which is pretty clear here at 91 on Alibaba. And then a sympathy name like PDD is making its top. The market's tanking, so you're looking for shorts. Okay, we'll short this off that high of the day on Alibaba. Scalp it to VWAP. When it breaks 90, try to hold for the lows, which is what we're doing. And now that we're below VWAP on BABA, I'm looking to short pops in it as well. So again, you had to wait for PDD to slow down because at the time you wanted confirmation. Like BABA was dropping like a rock. PDD kept going. So it's like, okay, well, wait for it to make a bit of a turn. It made a top here. I got in. Then it bounced off VWAP and I got more patient waiting for that high of the day. That was the first one I looked at. NEO was the second. Mostly, NEO's a bit different because it's showing some signs of strength here. It was a little bit different because Xpeng reports tomorrow morning and NEO showed a little more signs of strength. It was a very similar setup. Try to take out that top, and I have some weird pre-market stuff going on. I don't think NEO traded until 9:30 at the same price, but either way, if you just went back, you looked at the afternoon on Friday, there's your resistance level at about 19.25, and then again at about 19.35. So that's the target area that I wanted to be short in front of. It fails it at the open, does one of those crazy moves to the downside as it tries to bounce. When PDD is super strong, it fails off that high of the day, you short it. But unlike Alibaba, it's been trying to bounce off VWAP a little bit here. And as a matter of fact, it just put a bit of a wick off bottom at 19, which is telling me it actually makes some sense to maybe get some more shares out at 19. Now, I still want to rinse and repeat. I was actually trying to get some shares when we're, earlier on about lunchtime or so off that 19.20, and I will still short that level. But if the market catches a bid, NEO would be a long through the high of the day, just given the relative strength that it's had versus Alibaba, which I wouldn't necessarily touch. And NEO, I do believe, reports later on this week. But those are the two I want to watch here today. NEO's been a good one, but if I look at the cleanest stocks, the two cleanest ones that were today, it was because it was just so clear when the market was down, and they were fortunately enough being dragged up by Pinduoduo, and then you just had an obvious stop level at the high of the day. If it gets broken, clearly it would have been a hit, and NEO still has a chance to bounce and go higher, but the market just hit the low and is continuing lower, so not yet.
Every time I hear this market going lower. Yeah, so Alibaba going, and the thing is, tomorrow, remember, you get earnings from JD. We talked about that earnings board coming through. There was a few other Chinese names. We can get that earnings board in a second, but there was JD for sure. I don't know if Billy was on there or not, but again, this name, and I am in our TMS, so I don't know, like now I'm completely frozen, so I've lost all quotes, so this is really great.
I'll pull up JD.
Apple, all that kind of stuff. I mean, honestly, I don't even have anything to talk about. I was just going to talk live on the chart. Yeah, so I will get this all figured out. But here's JD coming up right. Oh no, I don't even have internet right now.
You know what? I'm not even making this one up.
That's it. Honestly,
there's a decent.
Honestly,
there's actually some. The bottle of scotch we got from the guys that. There's a little bit left underneath that table.
What am I gonna do? Bang it over my head?
Oh,
I mean, if I drink.
That's not what I would do with it. I'm just saying, man.
No internet.
It's kind of. Did you lose the internet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this is my charts. I don't have anything here. I don't have anything, but hopefully this will get regrouped. Oh, you know what's working? My clock is working on my computer, so that's good. Oh, here it comes. Internet is back, potentially, right now, so that was really fun.
It's one of those days, man.
Yeah, just one of them days. Okay, so 54.50 here on JD. I just want to talk about that because we're coming up to earnings tomorrow, and I'll get everything sorted out here in a minute, but that little level... I can't believe this is happening.
This is surreal, man.
That, some of these levels could break, and that's all that I'm getting at. I mean, if these Chinese names start to break lower, I don't think U.S. investors are going to come in and save these names. Remember, we had Charlie Munger pumping up Alibaba at like 130 or something. I don't know what the story is.
I thought he got better than that. I feel like he got some nut.
He could have. Yeah. It was about 120, 130.
But it doesn't matter now.
It doesn't matter. I mean, whatever. You'll probably figure out that they got out at like 131 or something. But anyways, I just feel like if some of these stocks start to break, everything's all jolly good on the upside. It's when some of these Chinese names really start to lose steam, it's just an easy bail. So I'm interested in these earnings plays tomorrow. Obviously, Zoom and Palo Alto also on deck. But yeah. So much fun over on this side today, but we'll continue to trade it, man. I'm still long AMC. Hopefully that's going up.
Well.
All right, let's talk oil here a little bit. Quickly, let's show this maybe. Here's the earnings board we were talking about. Yeah, so tomorrow morning, JD.com, XPEV as well. Coming. Those are typically overnight, so we put it in the morning because that's when you'll see it the first time, but they typically report sometime during the night. So there you go. We'll touch on that again a little bit later on. Oxy still kind of grinding here today. Really hasn't done much since that initial move this morning back to the downside. But I put on the board there, but holding higher than a lot of energy stocks today on this, I guess, hope of Warren coming in for a little bit more.
Well, yeah, I think, first of all, they came out and said, I guess Warren Buffett came out and said, or Berkshire came out and said, they're not looking at getting any more, which if you get half of a company, I think everyone's going to speculate that you might take it over. But the truth is, I had possibly frustrating for me was not getting the dip buy in Oxy. And we're talking about that breakout that it had last week on the daily chart, that 66 level, which I should have led with. Here we go. And this is it breaking out, that 66.5, 67. And that's your resistance, lower high, whatever you want to call it. And on Friday, that's what we were trading off of in the afternoon. Like it broke out when Buffett came with the news and we're long. I did make a short trade at 70 and then took the breakout again at 70, at 70.25 or so. It got up to 72.5. It was a good trade. And then we ended it off by trying to get it again at 71 and that stopped out. But the momentum was pretty solid. I came in here today looking at that same entry point where it tried to break and dip back in, 67 even. I'm like, I would just go long in front of that same 67 after the news came out. And I had my bid. I want to say it was at 21 or 6. I always put 21, 11 or prices I like bidding in front of an even. And I was sitting at 67.21 in the morning and trading a bunch of other stuff when AMC and APE were going crazy. And this thing bounced off 67.25. And the thing about trading multiple names is you might put an alert up or have an order out with a stop set to try to get in position and you're trading multiple names. But if I'm actually watching only Occidental and miss that long, that's inexcusable. When you're trading multiple names and you're trying to pick something up, you put your order, and maybe you're watching 3 or 4 other things at the time, and then you don't see it bounce off of your level, you miss it by 5 cents, well, that's close enough that you should just get into the position. If you want to get in for less, fine. But I should have had Occidental, and it even came back when things settled down a little bit and then went off to the races. I'm not sure there's a trade here after it's already given you the move you're looking for right into the resistance you'd expect. If anything, you could have shorted 70 probably. And then now you have oil closing in 30 minutes. I'm probably not going to touch Occidental, but that was a huge missed opportunity because the levels were shown to us on Friday when we're trading it on that monster move. And then all you had to do is respect those levels, and you had a pretty clean 67 right into that 70 trade, even with a dip buy at 69, oddly enough, and a breakout at 69. That could have been put on here in Oxy. I got nothing for it. I mean, the shorts are great, and they're pretty solid, but I mean, I don't know how many other longs we were looking at this morning that actually paid off. I can think of exactly 0 longs that I liked that actually paid off, and this was one. I didn't even get it.
So just quickly here, I will talk because check out this Revlon right now, Brendo. Brand new news coming out. Bankrupt Revlon says no official equity committee is needed in Chapter 11. So I don't know exactly what that's meaning. It looks like it's going to halt here maybe down to 750, 756 right now. But there's Revlon falling off a little bit, coming back in. That might be stating that, there it is, now it's halted. So Revlon halted, we'll find out more, but when I'm thinking about that, no official equity committee is needed in Chapter 11. So down to 750 right now, coming back in for Revlon. Interesting story here. Maybe they're not going to get that buy from that gentleman in India there. So we'll wait to see. I'm not sure, but there's the move down on Revlon. Big one there, halting, down now 11%.
Yeah, I'll read about this. Why don't we have a look at some energy stocks, guys, and I'll read more about this and see what I can come up with first.
Oh, certainly. I mean, look, honestly, outside of Oxy, it's happening on the fly.
On the moment.
It is halted. It was a volatility halt, just to confirm. Yeah, so it's a volatility halt. It should open in about 5 minutes. What just happened there, the market continues to make some fresh lows. I've been short of firm since the morning. I got stopped out early. We jumped right back in when it put a wick off top. But then I reloaded once it got back below 30, the original thesis. but played it to 29 and am now short the 29 break. So it took all day long for a firm to break 29. It just happened, and I was able to get some shares there beneath that 29. So I did add. I mean, technically, it's like a new trade. It's not a new position because I was already short when it happened, but it's a new trade off the low of the day on a firm which is just trending down. But while we're here, we might as well have a bit of a look at not just where Revlon is, but what potentially could happen on a reopen, because it ends up halting down at 756. And as you can see on the daily chart, that's not an insignificant level. That's actually the recent, really, that's the only line here that you have in the last last week or so. 750 was a bottom, and then it goes right to like 620, another low here. So this should be interesting. If it's indicating it's opening flat, but that's been pretty normal. So 756 halt, 756 indicated open. Brendo has the news right now.
Okay, so this is going back to August 9th, apparently. So the equity committee, I guess you want to call it that, is a group of shareholders went to a judge and said, if the group is large enough and holds a large enough stake, can they represent the overall say in the bankruptcy of shareholders? And it looks like, guys, from this point, the judge is just saying, no, they can't. So again, this is going back to August 9th. So a group of shareholders got together and said, can we, as I guess not majority, but represent the majority of shareholders in the bankruptcy proceedings? And this is essentially just saying they've come back and said, no, they can't.
Okay, so it's in the hands of management. I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens when it opens back up. I'm just going to look at that 750 level. That would seem like it's, yeah, I can see why you'd consider it a bit bearish, but it doesn't feel like it should be that bearish on the surface. I can't even think of a case where that was actually, where I've heard of that even happening and being approved. I'm sure it's happened at some point in the past, but
yeah, I was going to say, I think you just gotta
surprise me, but
wait for it to open up and see what happens there, because I don't know. We'll see. Like Brendan said, he'll discuss that a bit, but I think that made a lot of sense what Brendan just talked about there. So definitely find it out. Apparently, also Jack Dorsey now been subpoenaed in that Twitter versus Elon Musk case, I guess. So that should be also interesting. I do want to take a minute at this super chat because I don't want to make it sound like we're avoiding something here. Yeah, coffee and this kind of a face. What is that face? A smirking face. Okay. I can't help but notice Neil and Sean resemble those pesky short sellers. Hey, what's up? Pesky Sean here. The AMC Ape holders have been complaining about. So, all right, care to comment? So first of all, I don't know what, like, I haven't been reading what everybody's commenting about, like what people are worried about for AMC. First of all, I'm long right now. And then the other thing here is like, we are literally day traders, right? And so I feel like the more short that we go, we have to cover. If we're wrong, we're gonna have to cover those shares. So, all we're doing is adding fuel to the fire. If you are going long, I think that's better. We don't by any means trade anywhere near, and we don't talk about our share sizes, but this thing's done 110 million shares today. We are not any means, selling this name to try to get a retail, any kind of thing like that. That's not what we do. If you've watched our show, then that's why we literally show. I mean, right on my screen right now, you can see our ins, you can see our outs. We talk about all the trades we have, and then I also give you, where I'm gonna get out, and so does Neil. Like if we're wrong or right, and what our targets are and things like that. So we're here to try to educate you guys, and I'm glad that comment came through because honestly, that's great. You're watching the show. And you guys are doing the research and you're figuring stuff out. To me, that's what it's all about. And hey, I would love to know or to have a feeling on really where AMC is going right now. But no, that's not where we're about, man. We don't even exit or enter like our own trading positions like on our swing accounts or long-term or anything like that if we're on the show with you. That's how strongly we believe in not influencing. You're going to be able to see when we buy things and all of that, right? I'm even telling you right now.
Oh, no, I didn't pay for...
I'm not even trading, and Neil didn't pay for shorts on Revlon there, which of course, why would you? We weren't expecting that move. But I'm paper trading right now. Unfortunately, we're trading prop. This is a prop firm, and I had a bad wick today. Not a bad wick during the halt. You can even see right here, even in my TMS account, which is paper. It's called Trading Mode Supreme. 250,000 is the high for AMC. So I was caught, unfortunately, in this halt, and our system didn't engage the halt properly. Thought it was still trading, and marketed me out. at an unbelievable price. It's gotten broken. I am actually up on the day. So, and I never thought that I was going to be down $10 million. That was just a joke. If you guys are tuning in for the first time right now, I am down that much. That's what it shows, but that's not what it's going to be. But thank you so much for the super chat. If I
sorry,
go ahead. If it's open, yeah, go ahead.
No, it's halting right now at 6:37.
Oh, it's open and down.
So I was talking about being prepared. Yeah, in a volatility halt, there's 5 minutes to be prepared. I actually did not pay for locates on this. And it opened and then immediately failed that 750 level and is now in a down halt at 637. I'm not going to sit here and think, I didn't think that news was something that, like, why would they have expected to have won that? I don't get that. But it went right down, broke that 750, right clean to 620. But the only thing I will add to what Sean said, and hopefully my trades will show up, like, we're day traders, and day traders will always, I don't know any day trader that doesn't trade in both directions, man. And my AMC was as simple as long in front of 12, short when it breaks 12. That's all I've done today on the stock, and it's worked because you just trade momentum. We're not holding overnight. It's just that simple. When AMC's downtrending, you're going to want to be shorting it. But when it goes up, I'll tell you right now, like, the best days, a lot of the best days for most day traders were when these things are going to the moon and they're participating in the long. But guess what? They're also selling before it gets to that high. A day trader at some point is always intraday selling. There's no such thing as buy. Like, you cannot be diamond hands as a day trader. You are always covering a position. So you're always having to sell at some point. Brendo?
Just be careful with this Revlon story, guys. A couple things. I was reading a little bit more. This filing was actually made on Sunday night. So I'm not sure why this is happening so suddenly, unless this news for some reason just came out. And it's the company filing to the court and the company saying they don't need an equity representation during the bankruptcy filing. And they're essentially saying the shareholders aren't going to get anything anyway. So it doesn't make any sense. That's what the court was saying. But again, this was made Sunday night. So just be careful.
Well, that's my whole point. It's like, I don't understand what the case they were making was. So if they didn't win, why would it matter? Yet it's acting as if this is the end of the world. So,
well, I think what it's telling you is that they're going to go bankrupt.
Well, but didn't we already know? Yeah, okay.
I don't know if we. No, we did know they filed for it, but I think there was always that possible canary in a coal mine.
Yeah, I suppose.
With that, and I forget what it was. It's Reliance, right, in India there, that was thinking about taking them over or at least taking a piece of it. So I'm guessing if they're saying no, we don't need that kind of protection, then they probably are just going to go through the generic Chapter 8, I guess. I don't know what. 11-8, I don't know. Okay, thank you for all the super chats, man. Another one just flew through there. Thank you to Andrew Harris for sure, man. You guys are great. You learn every day. Hey, man, I mean, that's, to be honest with you, and I saw some other comments there, like we are literally just like average dudes here, families and everything, not rolling around in Lambos at all. Well, I said this, mine's in the shop. I only bring it out from June to July, so we'll keep it in there for now. I don't like this weather.
I'll get a Lego Lambo.
Yeah, coming out on that. But, AMC just did resist again. We talked about this, man. No matter what share size you're trading, this AMC bottom, let's just see if it holds. So we averaged in, we're long at 1104, so it's a nice little win temporarily here for us. I'm debating this out right around here, 1130, 1140. We'll see if we can get that out now. But to the upside we go here for Revlon, for AMC right now. So Instacart may be looking to IPO apparently as well. So that just came through, so no symbol on that. Hopefully they IPO and they don't SPAC. I think an IPO would be better for all of us here to trade, especially if it's a legit company. We'd like to see those IPOs come out, but there goes AMC again. Just touched the 200 period, and this 200 period is not going to be legit. Look where it's coming from. So it most likely has that price in there of 250,000. So until 200 minutes goes by, which maybe I guess it has. Now it's 2 o'clock, but that's why we're starting to flatten out here. So good on that. But AMC, regardless, just completely stopped at that sort of afternoon high rate here of 1120. Let's see if we can get upside a little bit more. 1140. I think we can get into this channel between 1130 and 1140 today. So that's what I'm going to be looking at there. And then of course AMD, which was one of the ultimate shorts that we had, continues downside right now, taking out 93. Our short earlier was 95, so that's something to look forward to. And I'm still going to be finding some more trades here, so let's continue to do that.
But stay off the
weed.
So drug is not it doesn't matter. DRUG, drug, up 90% today. There it is. I was waiting for that one. I did have one short in this stock. It was at $2, and then it broke out. We took the long break, got trailed out, which is usually going to happen. Like it made a failure at 250, which I thought was going to be a little bit of a turn there. So when it did reclaim that 220 level that I got out of the trade, it looked like a wick off top. And of course, that's just it sort of kicking people out and then going the next level up. I took the 3 break. That was okay. Kind of the same story, like goes 3 to 350 and then tries to support it on the way up, dip by, and then stop back out. 250 looks like it, after failing here, it's now been the afternoon resistance level. So I'm looking for this. It's about 255 that it's double, maybe even triple topped at. Got to climb through that number. It's made a nice lower high here in front of that $2, so it's got $2 underneath it for some support, and it's got that 255 level for potential break. I understand a lot of people are asking about this one. May not be dead yet, but it has to get through that 255. Part of me does want to consider shorting it, and wow, Revlon. It's like by the time I even notice that it's open, it's already testing lower. So this has just been an absolute free fall, showing some signs of catching a little bit of a bid here. At some point, I would expect it's going to, a couple of halts down. Usually it finds the bottom. It's that first halt up, and then a lot of times they will halt up once, and then open up after that, and then start trading, more than just a couple of minutes before the next halt. And that's a little bit easier to get into. Because now you're just kind of, what are you doing? Shorting off the low here, and then hoping it makes a couple more halts to the downside, and then risking essentially, like 10%, get a short, risk 10% on a stop, and then hope that it falls to the ground. I'd much rather this halt to the upside at some point and then give me some levels to work off of and go sideways a bit. That drug might give me a better structured trade. So I'd rather be going over to that one. Rev will calm itself down at some point.
Yeah, Rev will calm itself down. Okay, another name that we talked about earlier was Google, of course, and that's just tanked as well. I mean, obviously, as the market goes down, so does Google, man. We talked about this earlier on the morning show that we really liked this 115 top here. Now you're down to 114. I mean, it's not going down as aggressively as some of the other names, but you're just trying to break upside a little bit now. The thing about it is the NASDAQ is trying to hold underneath this 50 period. And I mean, look at what it's been doing. This is from it says 12 o'clock, but it's going to be 1 o'clock here. So for the last hour, we've stayed under, and right now we're trying to get up. So, if you do like the long right now, I think you can take it with a decent exposure because like that bottom, if you break the bottom of 12,915 right here on the NASDAQ 100, then you might have something. So just what I like to do, of course, is go over to the TQQs and trade that. So if you're looking at the TQQ, this could be another little situation here for a long on this name. So I'm going to look at that and just watch that. It's trying to break above a little bit here, down that 8%. And again, I apologize for all these lines. This isn't like my normal layout, but right into there, trying to break a little bit higher. What's that bottom? 32.58. So we're getting. I just lost all quotes again. So
I need to address a question in the chat because someone, I think it was Goggin in the chat. Goggin was just asking us, should I buy PRTY stock? We can't tell anybody to buy or sell stock. We're not advisors. That's not what we're doing here. We're just trading and we're telling you our executions. Did I buy at 240 thinking it would make a bit of a higher low here and a continuous trend to the upside? Sure. Got 10 cents out of it, then stopped out the rest for a 10-cent loss. And now it's bottomed out here twice or maybe even 3 times at $2.15. So, I mean, as a day trader, I'm kind of looking back at like $2 and $2.15 and saying, okay, well, if it breaks $2.15, maybe there's a bounce off too, and I'd go long like a 203 with a 195 or 199 stop, and then try to play it up back toward this 15 to 20 level. Like that's a trade that I might put on if there's a bid there at $2. But right now, I'm not giving we don't give advice on like buy or sell, hold, that kind of thing. Not what we're about. I can tell you that, if this had broken this double top, and maybe if it does a little bit later in the week, I'll be looking at a trade, like a breakout style trade at like a 270 break into $3. That's the kind of thing that we're looking at here, just short-term day trading. We have to be out of position at the end of the day, so we're never giving that type of financial advice. But there's stocks that are out there that give us opportunities to trade, and that's all we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I'm going to log out and back in to this. I might just have to
you tried turning it off and back on?
Turning what off?
No, I don't know. I got nothing.
Oh, yeah, log out and in. Yeah, I don't know, man. Okay.
Like I said, it's a really good scotch. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's scotch. Oh, yeah, that might
There's probably only like a couple of thumbs left, so.
Be a good one. At this point, nah,
You've earned it
it's
today.
all good. It's all good. You know what? I'm just gonna log back into live mode and then just do that because at least we'll have moving.
The quotes are fine.
You know what I think it might be, man? I think it's. I remember I transferred over my layout. I think there's probably problems with the XML files and stuff like that that I just didn't listen to the proper IT team here, and I just thought that way.
He did say you'd have to rebuild it.
He did say I had to rebuild my whole layout.
That didn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
going
like,
to do that.
No, you don't have to.
But anyways, okay, Neil, take it over, and I'm going to log back into live and see if my 10 million has gone down to like 9.9 million yet.
These guys know. They're like, first rule of IT, reboot it, man. Like, that's the first thing you do. It's also just, if you're trading live and something happens, like, you want to get right back into it. So the first thing you should do is like the most simple solution that you can think of. I've paid for the shorts in DRUG, and the more that I look at it, and when I look at how weak the volume is, you guys can kind of see how weak that volume is. It's pretty much nothing in the afternoon off these lows. I'm going to jump into a short in front of 255. Okay, I just probably told you, like 255, it breaks out, has a chance to maybe run. But it also looks relatively weak going into the level. So a level like that, I'll play it in both directions. And if we get a 255 break, that's fine. We'll go long into it there. My stop is still in place. Maybe alter it a little bit so we can reverse. But Drug, I want to get this short in the 45 to 50 range if we can catch it. I saw someone asking about Tesla, which I didn't really look at much today. It was relatively weak, but catching a bit of a bid here, and my 15 has this wick, that's why. But catching a bit of a bid off of this I thought it would go to 850, but it didn't. It went to 860 here. Either way, support at 850 on Tesla, breaking VWAP with the market on its lows. Tesla's relatively strong in that regard, kind of like how NEO is. So as we're going higher, I don't think I'll be reloading any NEO shares when Tesla's on the verge of breaking out through this 872. Like if it takes out 872, feels like there's room to that 880 level, and I'm sitting here over in NIO. Of course, this is now breaking back above VWAP. So this might be a situation where I should just be getting out of everything in NIO, understanding that it is looking like it wants to hold green on the session into a weak market, and if it takes out that high, I don't need to average back into the short. I can just look for the long break. And there's some reason to believe that the market makes it a convincing bottom that I would go long in front of 19. But if Tesla reverses, I'm going to probably change my mind there. But as long as I see that kind of upward momentum in Tesla and I see the market on that low and NEO holding a higher low, I just don't want to get trapped here sitting in a short that might not want to give me anything more when I've got a firm which is challenging the low of the day, Micron which is challenging the low of the day as well. Still not in that drug stock. And Revlon, for those of you that are still watching Revlon, yeah, it's starting to calm down. It didn't halt to the upside, but it definitely put on a bit of a bounce here. So it's looking like it's having trouble at $7. I'll give it a chance. It's now been about 10 minutes almost since it's been the last down halt. Pretty stable right now. Maybe $7 is going to turn into that resistance, in which case I'd probably play the short off of 7 even, but I'll give it a couple more minutes to actually challenge that level a bit more. Looks like it has calmed down and might be a little bit more tradable. GCT on fire? Okay. Maybe you've got me to look. Oh, it is on fire. Okay. Yeah, GCT making a bit of a power move. There it is. I had to break this morning at 60 through that stop back down. So we tried the breakout, did not go, and then that should have been like a God mode reverse level. I'm not completely convinced it wouldn't just fail at 55 again, but it has to challenge that 50 level where it rolled over pretty decently before. So we'll see if we can't get something. If it goes to 50 and starts failing, I didn't pay for shorts this morning. It was only 30 cents a share, which is pretty cheap, relatively speaking. So that 50 level will be the first place I'd look for a kind of a short with a hard stop, and then wait for a failed break at 60. Because if it fails a 60 break twice, I mean, I could see it just immediately halting. That long I thought would be a big one if it could have gone, so the risk to reward made some sense. But now it's starting to get some life on okay, not spectacular volume. And as I say that, like I said, I would be out of NIO. I'm out at VWAP. I now want, if the market can bounce from here, NEO becomes a stock that I would almost want that long off of 19 even. But I'd rather just be flat on it. As I said, Alibaba is a heck of a lot more weak. It's going up to VWAP. I'll short that one in VWAP and continue the trend into the downside that this has been making. Just no need to actually force it there on NIO. Thank you for the super chat, Greg. Greg Trail, $5. How low of a level do you feel Apple may get? Great work on the show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the super chat. Do you mean? I'm assuming you mean today. If you meant today, it hasn't even broken the morning low. And that's the market challenging over and over again. So I do feel like there's going to be some support at that 168 level, but my gut is telling me that maybe you didn't mean, maybe you don't just mean today, because if it breaks 168, I'm not sure it falls more than about like 67. I think at best, given how it's been relatively strong. What you might have meant is, okay, in this next little move, like where would it possibly consolidate? I'm just looking at the 200 period. I think if the market goes into a bit of a pullback from here and that lasts a couple of weeks, then I think the 200 period, that $160 level, that would be that spot that I think you'll get some maybe bounce support if we start trending back into the downside. Just trying to keep it simple there. It also happens to be a round number as well. But for today, 168 is the current low, and it hasn't been able to break that pretty much the entire session.
All right, what's up, guys? So I'm back in this game. All right, let's see what's going to happen right now. I went back into Roblox, or I went into Roblox anyways now. I feel like on this market, a little bit of a bounce back up here and hanging out a little bit above the 50 period. I think that's going to be short-lived. I mean, maybe if it rips. I mean, I talked about taking those TQQs. That would have been a good trade there. But yeah, let's just see what Roblox wants to do. It's now above some of these letters, some of these numbers here on the 200 period, and then again on the 50 period. But I want to hold it against this 41.65. So, I'm going to go short now as we break below. And just to see, like, the target on here is back into this, where we started to sort of barcode. So 41.25, 41.30, something like that to come back in. So I think, I'm thinking Roblox right here on a short side. I'll average into it if we get up to, like, 41.60. I mean, we're up there soon, so like 10 more cents. We'll average it, and then we'll use some of these wicks. What is that, 66? So let's use 70 or so as our out for Roblox. And then another one, we'll hit the animations here for you. This means new trade alert. Here we go. So AMD again right now, back into this name as we're below the 50 period. And look, the market just went for a jog, and we stayed under 93. So if it's going to stay under 93, your boy definitely wants to be short. So here we are short 77. Two new positions on, Roblox short, AMD short, to go with the AMC long. The AMC long might not, ooh, yeah, AMD, I see you now. Let's put some bids in the low 60s, take it a little bit, because again, where we're going to get out would be like a break of 93, maybe a little bit higher, 93.1. So if we're going to be short now at 80, or let's just say 80, so that's 20 cents higher. So if we get a bid at 60, which we are right now, then here we go, man. We're already running the 1-to-1 right now. So yeah, good trading. We just put this trade on. Let's see if it can hold below. But here goes AMD to the downside now. First bid out, 62. Hopefully we can grab that. Here it comes. Come on, AMD, man. We just shorted this bad boy to the downside. And this is what we wanted all day, man. We wanted this AMD short. We had it earlier. Like I said, we got stopped out on those AMCs, but we were shorting up here. I hope you guys still have this. But I like it as a short look here. We have NVIDIA coming through later on this week. And the way the SMH is and the way some of these names are turning over, I just feel like AMD on any market weakness is going to lead it to the downside. And that's just historically kind of like how it's been. AMD, the market will be up 1% and AMD will be up 5%, right? And so if this really gets going, we do know that the beta is higher for this name against the market. So we'll continue to be short here on AMD, but nothing covered as of yet. Low 60s is where I was looking. Revlon, I guess.
A couple of things.
Yeah,
Apple broke that low, that 168 low.
Of course
so watch for a little bit of a turn, potentially dragging the market. Like Apple holding up at 168 is definitely going to be helping things in terms of holding the low of the day in the overall market. Revlon, I said that 7 level. When things calm down, that'd be a level I try to play off of. Already taken a couple of swings. Oh, well, in the second one. It did a failed break at 7 even, got up to about 7.03. So I jumped in the short, gave it to the recent high. It then wicked top to 7.10, hit 7.11, and then came back down. So I jumped right back into the same trade, essentially at that 7 even area. I'm just going to give it off of that high and then see if it can pull back in. Here is we're going to Brendan at the big screen.
Hey guys, let's talk about volume. It's been a busy day. Let's figure out where people are trading the most this afternoon. The sport's going to show you over today 11,000 listings in the U.S. marketplace. Pretty one-sided here as far as the positive-negative board goes. 8,318 in negative territory, 1,700 and change to the upside, 1,000 basically flat on the session. As far as individual names on the volume side of things, this one, AMC, leads the way today, 117 million. Just below that, that Graphics group back in play again today. 92 million, $3.30. Little penny stock then. ANPC, 40 cents, 88 million. The TQs, the SQs, both here again today. 80 million and change. Mullins here. Drug, BBBY, UVXY, and SMMT. Drug down here as well in the percent gain. 90%. 76 million for that one. But it's all about AMC, top of the list so far today, guys, for volume leaders.
Yeah, I guess not terribly surprising. By the way, Drug did fail off that 250 level. I was sitting there trying to get the short in front of it. Now it's going to test that low of the day. With everything hitting that low, I'm going to get on the bid again here at the low of the day on a firm because it looks like that one's channeling once again to that downside. I just want to quickly show you Micron, which might not afford the opportunities that I would want in terms of selling it if there's any kind of a pop. At this point, you're just continuing to trend to this low of the day. I'm probably just going to have to hang on to this one till the end. I don't think I was trying to get 58.75 or 58.60s on any kind of a push back in to work back into the short on that name. I don't think that's even going to happen here. So unfortunately, the market looks relatively weak. Revlon showing some signs of getting off the shine. And this CABA, this is the one that, there's another one that's going. So I know Trader Prad was trading CABA, which is what I'm going to call it. It looked like it was left for dead, but this is good volume that I see up here. Like, look at this, good volume. Oh, well, you can't see, I'll do this for you guys. Good volume, pushing back toward those highs. I think it's got a shot at taking out this top. It's about a 214 top. I'd look for any kind of a failure at that price, look for a hold at VWAP, maybe 185 to 190 on a dip buy. So if I'm going to buy something, one of these small caps that's going upside, I'd rather take a shot at something which has good volume, which is what I'm seeing from CABA. That was the problem with Drug, why I eventually decided I wanted to get on the offer of that stock. No volume on its push to the upside, whereas CABA has all kinds of it, guys. So it does look pretty good in that lane. I'll try to get over to this if it does make that dip into VWAP, as a matter of fact.
Couple good ideas shared with you guys so far. There's the AMD short that is now just cha-ching right now, firing off the cannon. This is for you, Pokeroo. He said he likes the cannon, the sausage cannon, but here comes the money. This is what's more important for me. Look at AMD coming down in, man. We're short here at 77. Here comes 57. AMD continues to bleed, man. I mean, like I said, the short up here was legit. There it is right there, a nice little move back down in, and we're just using the same principles that we always were using, and that was watch the 50 period, watch momentum. I mean, it don't lie, right? And then look at this trade again. Like, you want to talk about an easy, like sort of one of those easy trades that we talked about earlier on. I mean, what did we write right here? AMC short at 12. Well, it's at 10 right now. AMD 94.50. Look at Apple 168 short break. Well, it doesn't matter when it happens. If I write it on a piece of paper, I'm going to take the trade. Look at Apple. Big time move to the downside. It's only 20 cents, but we have the whole thing. So let's go over to Brendan as Apple's on the day's low.
Just want to mention crazy round trip here today for crude oil that just wrapped up basically flat on the day. So 2:30 pit session closes. We were 3+, almost 3.5% at the bottom, all the way back, guys, at the close.
That is a huge move for oil there. Like, wow, it's pretty impressive for oil. Obviously, there's only one trade that I was looking at. It was going to be that Oxy, and I think it's pretty much done at this point. I let GBNH. A lot of people were looking at. I had that one up this morning, and we didn't actually trade it. I think Prad was on this one, but this has gotten. There we go. That's gotten shellacked since it had those couple of up halts. It got to $6. This feels like it's in Deadsville zone. If we do get another test, I think it's almost a fade. I didn't pay for shorts. I'd have to check to see how much they cost. But every single time this has tried to even think about going upside, look at how heavily the selling has come in, and the volume is just drying up on it badly. So I think this one might be done for the day. Sad to say. I mean, I always want to have trading opportunities to the long side. I feel like CABA is going to be that one. That's going to be the only shot I like. There's probably something else out there, but this is the only thing I see that's showing that kind of strength going into the afternoon, going into the close at least. NIO, I got out of NIO and then Tesla turned around. So Neil's back into the good graces for the short. I'll hold on to BABA right now, but after Tesla did this, which is turn around off that high of the day, then I'll come right back to favoring the short thesis on NIO. Just didn't want to be holding it if it was going to make a higher low. BOVESPA was more lower hanging fruit. Now we'll play off the 1905 area here and start getting into the short side of the trade. Like I said, we're going back into the downside, so you can hold on to what is working, jump back into some of the names that are now valid, which to me is definitely going to be this. And just one last one. I know we talked about Apple there taking out that low of the day. If Microsoft wants to cooperate here for a split second, Microsoft is essentially, I mean, it's not exactly at the low of the day, but it's 5 cents away from the low of the day as well. So Softy about to break that low. It's already taken out that 278 level. This is that low. If you go back, it's 287.60 or so. That's the last big significant bottom that we had back on, I think it was the 9th. So 277.60 would be the big level break. We get there, I think we're headed down a heck of a lot further. But that even dollar, not the significant level, 20 cents lower on Microsoft is where it is.
All right. Oh, wow. So yeah, I was just mentioning here to a few traders, like that 168 break was fantastic on Apple. We've taken some out now as it gets down to 164.75. Really no targets in mind for this trade here. I mean, we could look at it. This high, what is that? 167.40. I mean, I think we get to there anyways. And then down here into this problem of 165. I mean, that's not happening today, unfortunately. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. 2 hours, 2:36 right now. So we actually, that's right. We were on what, a half hour earlier? So yeah, okay. So it's not too bad. But maybe this level, 166.50, something like that. So about $1 lower on this trade if it comes in. Again, the market's really going to have to get down. When you're trading Apple, you're essentially just trading an index pretty much. I mean, it's 12% of the NASDAQ and what, 7 or 8% of the S&P. So there are other names involved there, but as Apple goes, the market will probably continue its downside push as well. So we're into that one. Roblox, I mean, this is my biggest trade here, just by, again, because we talked about that earlier. I already showed you my sticky note, but we wanted this early. So it was right there, 168. So that was the key break right there. So regardless of the time of day, I want to take that because it's breaking for a reason. So here it is right now, 32 cents in the money. And the thing about it, we took AMD before we took the Apple trade, and this one's only 17 cents in the money. So we're going to go 3 for 3 with our ideas because Roblox, this one not moving, but a couple pennies in the money as well. And the one that we're resting on is AMC. This is going to lose. I mean, I'm pretty sure this one's going to lose because we are right now near that bottom. We almost got taken out now that I see the order price here. A break back down below 70 and we're going to get out of AMC. So that wicked down there to 78. If I had been over here and watched it, that probably would have indicated for a long because of that wick, but still not huge, and I don't like the long here as you got to manage your this versus ape versus that versus etc. So you're going to have to watch out for those ones. But yeah, Apple continues its march down.
This is so disgusting.
What is that now, Kaba?
So is it Kaba or Kaba? Kaba. I would pronounce it Kaba. It doesn't really matter. But look what happened on this stock. Look at the bottom here. It had an established bottom at 165, right? Previous highs were like 160. So kind of like that's where you'd want to buy the dip. It snaps through VWAP, runs everybody's stop. And by the way, this is coming from like $2.
Yeah.
All the way down on no word of a lie, it goes to 165. No halt, by the way, right? So I had a position. I'm like, thank goodness. I had 2 bids in there. The first one hit, which canceled the other. I'm like, I don't want any more of these stupid things. Get stopped out at the bottom. I'm like, wait a minute, that's just a complete liquidity vacuum. It holds the low, get back in at 72s, and it's right back at $2. So they rug pull the stock, run everybody's stops, and if you weren't quick enough to jump back in, now it's trying to run the high of the day. Like, that's ridiculous, man. Like, it's right back to $2 as if nothing just happened. So it is what it is. Still hasn't taken out that high of the day. It did make this move. It is absolutely real. You easily could have got stopped and you could have jumped right back in, and it looks like it wants to try to respect that $2 level. I think if it clears 165, then it's probably done, but as long as that's going to be in play, I guess Kaba's got some life, or Kaba, whatever you want to call it. But that was pretty dirty there. When you get a liquidity vacuum, try to go to an established level. Usually that's where the market gets made again. But you don't want this getting taken out a second time because it's probably, if it sees it again, it's probably not going to hold it. So do watch out for that. What a crazy move that was. That was pretty much insane. Market's still holding those lows of the day, by the way. But this thing, all over the place.
I think you can go with Kaba because I was going to say Alibaba. Baba?
I thought it was Baba.
Is that what you thought?
No, that's what
I
Ian
know,
used to always say.
I know, just,
I like Ian. He's fine.
yeah, I like Ian too. Nice guy. Okay, so we'll continue to watch that. If there's anything else you guys want us to look at, let me know, because I'm here for that right now as I look upside. Just trying to find some more names, and we can check in. I know Neil was just talking about some squeeze plays there, but let's just check on how the biggest and the baddest of them all, kind of saying that tongue in cheek, but Revlon has been moving around here today. So a couple halts right there. And then look, once they got it figured out, it's been nonstop to the upside here for Alibaba as that continues to go, man. There's 740 with some size on it right now. So watch out for Alibaba coming back in. That's 760. Where we halted is where, this is the first halt. So right where it first halted is surprisingly the 50 period, and surprisingly right where we're stopping right now. So I didn't pay for shorts, but you know, Revlon there should be a short from here. I think if you have it, you know, that's 760, 770 or so as a level, so you can give it a little bit of room there on Alibaba. Obviously Apple's come in, we've taken some more fills on that one as well, as Apple just continues to march, man. Now 35 cents in the money, and now we just got a bid at 57, so that was a good fill for us as that goes. AMC right now near the bottom one more time. So in what was a YOLO shot here, trying to see if we're going to hold the bottom, we might get taken out at that bottom break of 70. Without any further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, it's Brendan. What you got home?
Some of these little tiny energy stocks popping up. Here's INDO. You can see on volume, there's HUSA starting to go as well. As we saw, a big move back higher on crude oil at the end of this pit session there, but trying to test the highs here for INDO.
Indo making those moves. Anyway, I just watched a silly Snoop Dogg movie, so when I hear the name of INDO, like the first thing that comes to mind is, you can probably imagine that. It was like Jamie Foxx and Snoop Dogg in a vampire flick. It was very strange on Netflix, but it was funny enough. I don't know if you watched it, Lucas. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything there, but that was a pretty funny scene. Alibaba, I almost said Baba, right back into this 89.70 low. So I did want that short closer to VWAP. Now feels like 90s where the resistance is being put in Baba. So that's what we have to trade. That's what we're going to go ahead and do. From that, back to this $2 level on Kaba. Here, the problem with Kaba right now, or CABA, is the spread at times opening up. Finally load. At times opening up. So it was just at $2, but the spread was to 95. Now it's starting to catch up. And that's been part of the issue. When it gets to 2 or 205, like the bids aren't really following through. So what you end up seeing is like this, because I think it's happening right now. Yeah, there you go. Like as you try to climb higher, what's normally like a 1 or 2 cent spread will open up the higher it gets, getting as high as a 5 cent spread. And that just simply means, like, you have people hitting the offer that might be getting out of shorts, let's just say, but the buyers that are just sitting there on the bid, which would drive the stock higher, they're not there. So it doesn't really have much of a bid causing this move back into the upside, which is probably why the slide back down is so violent, and hence why I don't think you want to be reloading on VWAP. If you like the long in the stock, you might not want it here based on what I'm seeing. I think the only shot would be in front of that 65 and then try to play it to $2, which, you know, I wish I'd done it for everything, but you know, I did have that long, at least a piece of it that stopped out that 190, thankfully canceled some other bids there. But that's always a key thing for me. Like, you want to see that bid come in. I'm seeing it show up when it gets off 90 off VWAP there. So, but that was more of a stacked bid. And I see, like, look at this. See what I mean by a stacked bid? Like, does anyone actually think that there's a person trying to buy 2,300 shares, the exact same lot on 3 major gateways? Is that real? No. But they could literally bid, let's say you bid 100 or 200 shares on 83 or 93 or so, like you can always try to cancel those as they come back in there. Like if they get lit up for all of that when it looks like they're layering, then fair game. But I feel like if there's one bid in front of all of those, there's a good chance that they would just snag all of that, pull the bid, and have it flush to that downside. So a lot of times when I see that, I don't trust size on the bid when it's that whole stack level. And thank you again. We got another super chat in there. Do we know the catalyst for the downturn in the market since Friday? Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is why the market is down, but it is worth noting outside of. Why am I still on Kaba? I just clicked on the SPY. There you go. So everything should flip. There it is to the SPY. If you look at where the SPY went, and now this chart's, here we go. It's going to start to backfill here. If you look at what happened on the SPY just recently, I'm not talking about on Friday. Friday was a big down day. But the 200 period, when this eventually loads up here, I can tell you, we essentially got to exactly the 200 period and then started rolling over in the overall market. So a very major moving average on the S&P 500 got hit and rejected, and then we broke that consolidation on Friday. So that's, in my estimation, like regardless of what the catalyst is, that's what's happened, and this is why you're getting that kind of a pullback. And now you're right back into the next level of support, down around this 410 on the spot. Maybe that's where we catch a little bit of a reprieve or a bid, and that's why some names are coming into support levels like Microsoft is, and maybe like Apple was before it just broke. But that's really all that happened. Major, and the Dow as well rejected its 200 period moving average and then started heading back into the downside. So a bit of a technical turn that happened in the overall market.
Yeah, and also too, right? I mean, like the Fed completely came out, and it's like, you know, even based on some of those numbers that were coming out, the inflation numbers, and then we have Jackson Hole coming up at the end of this week. So I just feel like they're not really pivoting at all. They've talked about them being data dependent. Like a lot of people read that, hey, maybe these guys were pivoting to be a little more dovish, but I mean, I think that they're still on target. They have that target funds rate, and they're not going to change until it's hit, right? And they have inflation targets as well, like 2 to 3%. We're getting nowhere near that anytime soon. So I feel like we can go over the CME rate tool, but the next rate hike is going to be September 21st. Whether or not it's 50 points or 75 points, as that sort of gets adjusted, you are going to see some key things coming through. But you know, what remains true of no matter what happens, and again, thank you so much for the super chat. I just feel like the market got really heated there. We went right up to the 200 period, like Neil was talking a little bit there about what was going on in the market itself. They went up to the 200 period on the S&P and completely fell off of that, right? So you have to remember that certain things are going to work now, growth probably not. This is not the right time to be invested, I think. I've already, this morning, man, I mean, I even talked about this as I wasn't trading live this morning after that AMC debacle, which is all settled down now, but I sold some Netflix. I've been selling some Tesla. Like on some names that are a little bit overheated there off earnings, I felt like it's a great time to start raising some capital. So for me, the writing was on the wall. I've decided to never sell my Microsoft or my Apple or anything like that in my longer term position, but some of these plays that have been a little bit heated, like in Netflix, and I just think that money has to come out at some point, right? I mean, you're going to get big moves down and big moves back. Like, what really changed in Netflix's business that made it go from 175 back up to 250? Like, that's 50% gain there from these bottoms. So, I mean, some of this just continues to make sense and some of it doesn't. So for me, that was a big high take there. So we did pair off some of our Netflix profit, and that's just one example. And I think the same is true for Apple. Apple was what? Look at this Apple chart here. Up. I mean, this is why I'm on Apple, man. I mean, this is why I'm short. It's my biggest position right now as AMC breaks down 1070. So that one has been a roller coaster ride today. And we said we'd get that fixed, that roller coaster, but at some point maybe I'll have to stop hitting it, I guess. But there it comes back down, 167.70 breaking down in. Look at this Apple run. I mean, is this, again, what's changed? We actually heard some supply chain issues possibly with Foxconn and Taiwan and all that stuff. So look at this. You get basically out of 30 days, there's maybe a little bit of pullback there, a little bit here, a little bit here. And other than that, man, it's been straight up fire to the upside where we almost took out all-time highs on Apple. I mean, we came within $4, let's call it. I mean, what is the all-time high? 183.50. Yeah. So that went to 177. So you came within $5 of an all-time high again of Apple. When really, if you look under the tea leaves or whatever that saying is, read the tea leaves, there's not much changed except for the fact that everybody got real excited after they only went, what was the last one, 75? And then all of a sudden the rate tool went down and was showing 50. I mean, whatever it shows, it shows. I think the Fed's been pretty steadfast with saying that they need to get their... Steadfast?
I like that.
I think that's pretty good.
That's
right?
a great one.
Yeah. In staying the course, right? In holding the line. So I feel like more cuts are coming, or more hikes are coming. They haven't even really started QE. I mean, they have, but wait till you see all these trillions start to come off the balance sheet, stuff like that. I feel like there's more problem. And then I've been a huge proponent, we talked about this with Danielle Shea too, of oil. And where's oil going? And I said the Russian sanctions are coming on board, man, in October, November. So when those start coming on board, and you're going to see Europe freeze during the winter months because there's no nat gas flowing, then what? Then what? So I feel like there's a little bit more here. And yeah, I mean, you guys know Neil actually made a funny comment, and I think it was true. When's the last time I've never gone long? And now this is 3 straight days. Forget about, sure, I went long AMC, but it's 3 straight days or 4 straight days that every NASDAQ 100 name that I've traded, I've only looked short. And this is now going to be 3 for 3. So, let's wait to see what happens here into the close. You are way tanking. Remember this little hiccup that happened? And I was like, let's see if it holds. I mean, no, and that's exactly where we went short AMD and where we went short Apple. The only name that's really, the sort of the Achilles heel of mine, and hopefully none of my players blow any of their Achilles, which will probably happen soon, is Roblox. Roblox not making that move down. So this name, relatively strong to the market. So you may want to watch out for your Roblox shares and just keep on adding
but
to
that's not even that strong.
It's not strong, but it's in this move down though.
Yeah, that's relative. That's relative.
Yeah, it's going up, so that's a little strange. Look at this though. So we're not putting any more effort into Roblox. If it goes up, it goes up. But Apple right now, nicely done to the downside. It's cooking here, down to 167.50. So hey man, 50 cents on Apple when my stop was going to be like 30 or 40 cents. I think we're doing pretty good here on AAPL.
Hold on a second. The match hasn't. Liverpool hasn't started versus Maine. Someone's putting in scores as if the match has started. It hasn't started yet.
Maybe they want your reaction.
No, they play in 10 minutes. And the match starts. I checked. I'm like, yeah, I know. But Man U's not even good anymore, so it doesn't matter. But someone put in the chat, they're like, oh, look at Intel. Look, you have to pick and choose which semi-name you want to watch today. They're all down and they're all breaking levels, but this is a good look because it broke 34.50. I happen to like the 60 level on Micron better, but maybe that was a bit of a mistake because Intel's level break could be better than Micron's. When I look back at it, it's just much more clean. Whereas Micron tried to go up before it came down. They're all down. I look at Micron's chart. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that Micron isn't trending to the downside. However, it looks like there was a better level break on the daily chart, at least in Intel's case. So you might see me jump over to this one tomorrow because that's one of the things that I always like to see is if you're trading to the short side, can you find something that is breaking a huge shelf where a bunch of stops have run, and then you're unlikely to have a bunch of support? So, Intel definitely falls in there. I happen to be looking at Micron and NVIDIA today. NVIDIA, who reports their earnings, by the way, later this week, and is right at. This is that 170 where I did say, if NVIDIA gets to 170, you'll probably see me try a long in front of that level, and we still have an hour to go in the day. It's touched 170.33, gotten really close, but really no cigar. So I'd still look for that scalp long. But that'll be a hard stop on NVIDIA at that 170. Not 169.75, not 169.85. 170 would be my stop on any bounce long on NVIDIA, and I want to try to get it close to that. If it goes down there, then obviously it means that the chips have continued to fall and look relatively weak. I'm back into NIO after Tesla's weakness. So we jumped out of it, get in essentially at the same price we exited. I'm not going to give it terribly far. It's still holding VWAP, but certainly to that 910 level is good enough for me. Brendo?
This one was up in the pre-market. Just saw it pop back up on a volume scanner, guys. WAG Group company, after VC firm reports a stake. It's Acme Capital. Sounds like a cartoon. PET on the NASDAQ just popping back up.
Me Capital.
I was gonna say
they win.
WAG Capital. I'm thinking WAGs there.
WAGs, the billions.
Yeah, billions. So shout out to any billions fans out there. That would make me instantly just get out of that trade and not worry about it. But shout out to billions as well. They're on a great show. All right. Oh God, I don't even want to say this news. Apparently there's another shooter running around somewhere. Okay, so I got out of Roblox for a 6-cent hit or whatever it shows, 6 or 7 cent hit there. I just felt like, and now it's come in, so I got out at 52 or 53, but it looked like we got out there, so there's the short. I just don't want to be part of it if the market's going to do this, and we're going to get out because right now we are printing everywhere else. So Apple continues to make lower lows here. Hopefully, as we go, we just wicked down to 67.48 or something there. This bottom of 167.53. I mean, I don't know. I can get out another piece now. Maybe we'll do that. AMD is also. Let's do that. I'm just going to punch out right now a little bit at 61, 62. There it is. We'll take a. Oh, I guess we got a mid print there, but that's okay. So out a little bit more there on AMD as we wind up getting out. So, you know, it did take a little piece out there when it broke back above the 50 period, but we'll continue to short this one. This is 20 cents in the money, and then 55 cents in the money goes our Apple trade now. So we're going to go 2 for 2, and then we did dump our Roblox. That's going to cost me right now 5 cents, which is no problemo on that one. So let's look for more. You know what's name I thought has been, and thanks for the comments about someone finally looking at bigger picture. I hope you meant me there, because yeah, I am. And someone saying like, what does this look like for? Look at that. I know you talked about Intel, Neil. That is. Look at this on a 20-minute chart. Like, I wanted to look at it because I was like, okay, let me see what Intel's doing, because I have AMD, which really isn't falling. But, well, I mean, it is, but 18 cents. Look at this. This is not a green candle here today. This is only a 20-minute chart, but from 35 down to 33.70 right now, probably below where it was 30 years ago. Intel just continues. Some of these names are going to be at some point, man. Like, I want to buy SMH. I've been buying SMH. Not anymore. We've talked about that. I really haven't bought anything in a little while, but some of these names that are like great names and make great product, like such like Intel there. At some point, that's going to have to turn around, and like that. Wow, just an absolute destruction.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind, though, like Intel's margins were really, and I'm saying really bad, but like I was more harsh, but they were atrocious in the last report. So when everyone was guiding poorly, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at this LabU because someone brought this one up, and it's got my attention a little bit here. But Intel, the margins were so bad that I would argue that they had the worst report, despite the way that some of the other semi names were guiding down, and maybe Micron looked pretty bad, but theirs was the worst report in terms of the actual bread and butter of the company. So if we do go into a recession, then when you're already in the situation that Intel is in, it's going to make some lower lows. And do I think it can still pull their turnaround? Yeah, but they're also trying to turn around their business and go in a new direction while this is happening to them. That is a bad look. It needs to make a base, then go back up. The good news is it doesn't have to travel very far before it can break back out. So I think you sit this one out till it like maybe holds a consolidation and then starts going higher, because they're trying to make a 2 to 5 year turnaround anyways. And I just feel like, you know, Micron's a good valuation. It wasn't as bad a report for them. If I had to pick one up literally today, it would probably be Micron. But long term, I still think they have a chance to make that turnaround go. But I mean, I look at what happened to GFS. Nobody has any trouble when Global Foundries makes a deal. You can see how that'll rocket ship up. It's the same type of catalyst that Intel is trying to structure into when it comes to their fab business, and I think that's what or foundry business, and that's what everyone is sort of looking for as that next catalyst. But when you're doing that kind of retool while margins are slipping, you're spending money to try and invest in your future while your margins are going to hell. That is a bad foundation to come from if you're going into a recession. That's why they're super vulnerable right now. Like as a day trader, I'm only really looking short this stock. Same thing with Micron. It's cyclical. I'm only really looking to short that stock usually. There'll be a bottom. I'm not convinced it's here yet. Maybe it's at 30. I have no idea. I think it's more of a time-based thing. I think it's more of like wait till the next year for Intel. Wait till a couple of quarters. Wait till there's positive momentum on an earnings play, which is not something that you'd want to say when something is reasonably priced from a PE basis. But I think you need some better earnings or some kind of positive headwind when it comes to those margins, because they were really bad. Like, it was god-awful, really. It's one of the worst quarters I think they've ever had.
Yeah. No need to invest in Intel at this point. But, yeah, I mean, we don't know when these turnarounds are going to happen. But meanwhile, AMD to the downside continues. Man, we just took some more profit. Oh, sorry, that's Apple. But we did also take some more profit. Some of these names are jumping a little bit now. So you got to, like, if I'm going to get out on these upper candles, I got to also get out when they do tick down a little bit, right? So 92.50, we'll put a bid out right there for 92.50 flat. And I'll also put another one, 40 if that does come through. So we want to take advantage. We want to have some ticks at the bottom here, not just when it starts to scare us a little bit. So the same thing with Apple. That's still 41 cents in the money off of a decent trade there as well. Oil call options. I told that, I mean, like I said, man, when we had Daniel Shea on there the other day, and I was talking to her about it, I said I loved 85, and yeah, so today was a great opportunity to buy some calls, and I still feel like you can. They're on oil. I would push them, like I said, to October, November if you did have anything like that. But again, that just goes on what I'm thinking is happening in this world right now, and not what I think, what actually is. And we'll just see. I don't think the demand for oil is going anywhere, but the supply sure is. You heard the Saudis come out today, which rallied it back up. I believe Brendan was mentioning them cutting some supply. So that's where that move came from here on oil, just straight up to the upside. Looks like that story hits about 11.25, and then oil never really, I mean, you dip down back to 89, but really supporting some of these highs. So it's almost a complete U-shaped turnaround here for oil, which if it was still open, I mean, it's trading, but not actively open on the floor. You can see the pit session closes right here at 230. But look where it closes, kind of at a perfect high. So we're going to see tomorrow, I mean, as we get volume back in, as the Asian markets open up and so on and so forth, then we'll see. But this 90.50, I think, is going to wind up being pretty key here for oil, just to see that if I was short this name, I would be getting out once it takes this 90.50 or 91. You give it a little bit more room, but it's getting close there on oil. I think that's going to be a good play for the long side of things. Let's just check.
Yeah, because I mentioned that I was watching LabU, the biotech ETF, and I was asking Brendan if there was a specific, it's down 5.5%, but if there was a specific piece of news maybe that's driving it especially down. It has been in pullback, but if you have a quick look at its 50 period, maybe a little leveling off type place that it could have here. Just when I pulled it up, it's like that's a really interesting channel it does get into, but you want to make sure that you're not missing a headline in one of the major names. But I didn't see anything. I just wanted to be sure before I blurted that one out that this is looking like it could be reaching, because it's getting crushed, right? You can see the trend to the downside. It might be reaching a temporary bottom where if it could go sideways for a couple of days, you got some room to maybe pull back into like a 10.50 to 11 on LabU. So we'll see what happens. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't speaking without missing a gigantic story in one of the names in the ETF. This CABA looks like, I don't know, it's still doing exactly the same thing at VWAP here, where it's catching a bid off of 85, going to 2, and then there's just nothing there. So at this point, I'm going to slip a trailing stop beneath that 185. I just feel like if it continues this pattern, we should either be taking out the top, in which case I want to cover in front of the high of the day, look for a double top breakout. That'll be a separate trade. Or it's just going to head to the lows, in which case if it breaks that 85, I mean, you could be headed right back to 165 anyways. So this one looks relatively weak. I do think it's going to run into some trouble here. Micron's starting to come back to the upside. Affirm's starting to come up. I got a 29.50 stop on Affirm. The market is bouncing here. And if the market is bouncing, I want to check Tesla, because Tesla just bounced off VWAP. That's showing signs of strength. The other name that hadn't broken the low or broken support was Microsoft. Microsoft managed to hold that 277.50 level. I know it's down 3%, but I look at that bouncing off that level on the 15-minute that we're talking about earlier, and this might be one, if the market can bounce back, I'll like this one. I mean, VWAP on Tesla may be a little bit better. I'm not sure we get that, but 277.50 looks like a good entry area for Microsoft. Tesla obviously relatively stronger, but if I can catch this, it would have to be a little bit tighter to this, I guess, 866 level. It's only trading a couple of bucks higher, but it also has not been moving a heck of a lot, which $2 or $3 at a time for Tesla, that's not a lot of movement. It's really just scalping at these levels on Tesla. Brendo?
Just check out Netflix, guys. I mean, the market trying to bounce here, as you guys were mentioning. We came down to almost 3% on the, there's nothing new. Almost 3% on the NASDAQ. Got a bit of a bounce here, but here's Netflix on an uptick through that high. Still 6%, but trying to cover a little bit maybe.
Yeah, it probably knows I sold some. So, okay, let's just review. Great there take on Netflix. I think, again, the names that have been working will continue to work. It's just, what do you think about tomorrow? We only have an hour left in today's day. If you are thinking negative, I would take advantage of some of these bump ups, right? To try to get out of some of your positions or take advantage of these pullback downs. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of people saying that you got to buy the dips now. So there's different strategies that are coming through. I still think you short rips, and I'm not sure you buy dips. I mean, and on that one right now, we'll have that money come in again because there's another reload on Apple right there. Okay, we are reloaded. If I can ever find, there it is.
Hey, I'm reloaded.
off that. So it rips up right to that 50 period here, and then we just shorted again. So look at that, man, just another short right there at 82 as it goes back into, I mean, sometimes we make it look easy. This is not easy, but there it goes again here, Apple to the downside, and you know, good so far. You never, we'll take some profit there. You don't get to get out and celebrate until you have put the profit, obviously, in your pocket. So we'll take a little bit there. And then I just want to give everyone a quick update on what we're going to be doing here with Apple. If Apple breaks above this level here, 168.30, then we can get out. I will average in a lot more if we can get above 168, but until then, we'll just continue to hold on to our position here on Apple. Tesla, I mean,
Just quickly, there was a weird, big volume candle that just happened on Micron, which got me to add to it at the low of the day here. It just spiked up. It tried to take out 58.25, big spike up, and then slams right back down. So as it came back through, I just grabbed more to the short side. I've been sitting in it all afternoon, but it's been just sort of lollygagging all the way to the low, and then you had that one sort of fake breakout and then came back in. So I did add to the position to that short side on Micron there. Yeah, I mean, the market's still trending to the downside, but I hadn't done anything with this one in a while. Just wanted to make sure I jumped over to that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, same thing. I mean, we're still, like I said, we're here not messing around. Like, there's Apple, there's the reload, and I mean, if you're following one of us, well, I hope it's both of us, but I hope you're following me because honestly, some of these trades that we've put on here have been pretty good here in the afternoon, and considering some of these reloads, that's going to be a good one there. Roblox, good thing we got out, and again, this is the other thing about what we're doing. Is I like to trade relative strength versus weakness. And when Roblox was not going down there, when the market was doing this, it was one of those things where it was pretty obvious there to see. So we watched out for that and got out for like a 6-cent hit. And now, obviously, it's ripping back up to the top side into a spot where maybe we would consider getting out. And, the NASDAQ is getting close, man, to breaking a little higher here. Like if we break near this 12... I was going to say like almost 12,960, something like that up here. Then you're going to get a nice move to the upside, I feel like, taking out some of this. That was a pretty dramatic move down. If you're able to stomach it, you do get a nice bump up. But look, see that same action? It's kind of happening again right now. So if you are looking for the short, you could fill something out right now. But here we go, Apple right back up again. So I'm going to start to lighten up some of these positions. It's only 306. And there are going to be good shorts to find for sure, but maybe it is time to like switch over to something that might be relatively strong. I know Alibaba's up to 90 again.
APRN's making moves. That's another small cap, though.
Yeah, no one. I mean, if you're in those names, great for that. But, maybe a strong one, now that I see this, could be Alibaba off those bottoms. I mean, that's 89.70, and they're positive today. So if you do get some momentum going, Alibaba could easily revisit 91 up here, which is about $1 away. So put in a couple hundred shares, take your shot if you want that move. But I'm also thinking that the out here, let's just say this comes down to 90 and you get the fill. Your out is 20 cents away. I mean, regardless of what your share size is, unless it's 20,000 shares or something, that's probably well worth it on a risk to reward here for Alibaba. So I think this is a good little long, and I'm going to put it on. Although I still believe in the short, I think this long could be a little bit better on Alibaba, considering that we have this bottom at 89.70. So let's try that. We do have a lot of Chinese earnings coming tomorrow, so that's something to consider as well. It's not going to be Alibaba, but other names obviously will drag down the sector. So watch out here, 89.70. I'm going to put a long on now for Mr. Baba.
Is that wick real on Baba? I have a lot of these crazy wicks that just happen.
That's not that crazy, is it? How many pennies is that?
Yeah, but it feels like a wick off top, and there's not a lot of volume.
Oh, it could be a wick
There's
off.
not a lot of volume on it, though.
Yeah, that's right. What, 90.06?
It's not doing a lot of volume.
Bro, I see that wick as 4 cents. What do you see it as?
Yeah, but it's the amount of volume that happens on a break of an even like that.
Yeah.
I was watching the stock. I have level 2 up, and I didn't see any kind of volume on that move. If it gets up to that high and fails 90 again, I'd actually go to the short side of the trade with a 10-cent stop, and then just play the momentum that it's been putting in so far. But I was trying to say that it's APRN apron. It's right at the high of the day. The volume's okay. It looks like it's making an attempt for this breakout at 620. This looks like a pretty solid one here. But the volume, you want the volume to pick up. I think you want to be buying dips if you can, but the breakout runs into some overhead resistance. That's kind of the trouble. I'm going to price out what the pay for short is, because if it breaks this 622, everything else about it looks pretty strong, but then you come into this little head and shoulders thing at 642, and then you're punching into like a 20-cent move, potentially where it hits that high. And if I see that where it's a long into overhead resistance, my first thought is, okay, well, anyone looking at the 3 or 5 minute chart is going long off the break. If it fails to get through 640, then I want to be shorting in front of that 640 with like a stop just above that and then play that sort of fail breakout move on APRN. But it all depends on how expensive it is to short. Brendan?
I was just checking on this Neptune Wellness. If you remember, NEPT popped up going back to last Thursday. Made a huge move all the way up to 350 on some Walmart news. Just trying to get back above 2 here. Some volume coming in as well for NEPT.
Neptune. Yeah, okay. That's funny. All right, just laughing at something else here. All right, so I'm starting to cover. So we did go long Alibaba, like we said. Of course, now it's in the money. But we're going to wait. We're starting to cover Apple. We're getting lighter and lighter on this as it's starting to go back to the upside. It doesn't look like but this is much better. There's 168. There's some covers at 50s. There's some covers at 60s, 70s. So good 20, 30 cents on those. But right now, we're starting to just dance a bit, and we're starting to hold above higher. So as you can look, a little bit of a different way that we're doing here. We've now bounced off of, maybe I can zoom in a little bit more here. We've now bounced off of 1, 2, 3, like 5 or 6 times, bounced off the 50 period of this market. So now we go back up to the upside. This is the NASDAQ 100. So as you can see, you're starting to bounce up off of it a little bit higher. So for me, it's pretty easy to get away from some of these longs, like I said. So we'll start to get out of that now on Apple. So that's what we've been doing. We're pretty light on the stock here. We're going to be up really good, man, on this name. But hey, it is what it is right now. I'm going to get out of another piece at 78. Like, I really don't believe in this. If it's going to hold higher, I don't want to give back what we've made on this move already. So we will give back on that. Our AMD, we're still up on it, but if this takes out like a couple more pennies, then we're going to be flat because we didn't do a good enough job of really securing the bag when it was coming back in here. So should have noticed this little tick down there to 92.50. Didn't pay attention enough to that. Was just looking to reload some of the shorts as this is starting to go back upside. So watch out for AMD. We got to have some targets out. I was going to use 93 on this, but I also feel like the market might break. And like if the market does break, then yeah, that 93 is going to get crushed. So let's just hold out. I'm going to try one more because we do have that 93 top right here at 2 o'clock. So that 93 top right there, I want to see it happen again. So let's go short around 92.90, something like that in here. And then if it breaks 93, man, we just get out of here. It's not hard for me to say that. So we'll get out of here if it breaks 93. But let's take one more shot at a 92.90 short here on AMD, get a better average price.
Yeah, and so like this is exactly what I kind of think it was going to happen on APRN. It got through that high of the day. It's gone literally 2 cents and now trying to get through 625. So if it breaks the 625, which has about 40 to 50,000 shares, which is nothing into 18 million in volume on the day, if it gets through that level, I just want to see it maybe churn a couple of cents higher. It's 642 that I look as that overhead resistance. If it gets through that, then I think I'll probably not even think about that short side of the trade. But between 25 and 42, anywhere in that range that this starts to slow down as it tries to make that break, that's where I'll be looking for the turn here in APRN. It was actually less than 1 cent per share for locates on this. So very, very cheap. That's why late in the day, you might think, well, we're going to put a trade on. Yeah, you can pay for shorts when they're that cheap. Realistically, if it was like 20 or 30 cents, it's not worth it because you might only use it once. And then that completely skews your risk to reward. If you're risking 15 cents and paying 20, then really you're risking 35 pennies, and suddenly you need like a 60 to 70 cent move to justify it, which I'm not sure it's going to do. I'm just thinking about a $6 to VWAP type retracement here, and right through that 25 into 35 is the high. That qualifies as a little bit lower than that 42 level. Now I'm looking for the shorts in APRN to that high a day.
All right. Yeah. So far so good here. We did take. Well, we did not take a reload, but the market did come back down. So we took a couple more bids out here. Actually, 2 of them, and we still are bidding down here on AMD in case we do get that squeeze. Looks like Bed Bath & Beyond. We're not going to get anything going on that. We were waiting for 9 bottom there. That didn't come into play, so no worries. It's kind of been doing nothing here in the afternoon. Kind of just. We call this kind of barcoding back and forth. So we'll wait for that 940, see if there's anything on that. Move back down. Yeah, Revlon. People doing some cheers. What's up, Tobias there? What's up? I love that name, Tobias. Let's wait to see here. Here it is, Revlon, 825. Wow. Yeah, nice. Nicely done there. Nice move back up to the upside. We had that filing come through. Brendan talked about it a little bit. It's definitely held some of those bottoms. There's the first halt, there's the second halt, and then bang to the upside. So sometimes they say that first halt, second halt, third halt, back to the upside. So you can sort of keep track in your own little playbooks there how often that works out for traders on the third halt. DKNG, DraftKings, ballin'. I don't know. There's sports is coming back online, but don't get that twisted with other things, man, because you know, if you think about the NBA coming back, the NFL coming back, obviously college ball, football, you know, going to be huge. Every year it's huge. And DraftKings really falling off again. So don't take any of these spikes. I mean, I've sat here and traded DraftKings ever since it went public, and it doesn't really act like that. Like you'd think like, oh, March Madness is coming, buy DraftKings. Nah, it doesn't really work like that. And as you can see, it's now pulling back in. I am going to load up, and this is serious. Like if we come back into 9-10, anything like that, and I know it's far away now, but you know, we've just fallen $4 in 3 days. You take $4 off of this again in the next 3 days, which I think you could take more than that. Then you're back down to 12, 13, and then you're getting pretty close. Like I really think that DraftKings can hold some of these bottoms, and then again, as more states come online, I know they're almost all online, I think, anyways. I mean, most of the major ones, like they got California, New York is there as well. You know, I just wonder about the first mover advantage that DraftKings has. And apparently the app is pretty slick. I don't have it, but that's kind of cool. We know all the kids like that kind of stuff. And then it's just about customer acquisition. So if they've been able to get a lot of us gamblers, you know, on board with them, then DraftKings really does have a pretty high ceiling, to the point where if their app really is that good and they do really have that many people on board, you know, they could eventually be some kind of a bio candidate on that front as well. So I don't know if they'll have like some anti-competition stuff coming through there. But anyways, DraftKings continues to work, I feel. But for right now in this environment, like I said, as long as the Fed is keep on the pedal here moving forward, trying to still continue to raise until they get their target, then I feel like DraftKings can fall back in here into 9-10. So I'd look out for that one, picking this up on any dips.
Ooh, DraftKings.
I didn't want to say hit the like button as well.
I think there will be consolidation in that space. Like who buys who and when it happens. It's just the competition is going to heat up in that regard. It has to happen. I think it's definitely going to be par for the course. Hit the like button, guys. It's like you said. I won't troll you guys if you guys hit the like button today. We're here every single day that the market is open. And I understand, look, the market is trending to the downside. That has meant looking for short opportunities, but seeing big news like Revlon comes out of nowhere as well. I see Isle moving to the upside, ASLE, so this one's popping off, it looks like. I just talked about Apron, APRN. I mean, I give a nickname to every single stock, but sometimes they make sense, sometimes they don't. So it takes that 642 or 25 high. I said watch out for that Head and Shoulders lower high at 642. Well, it touches 641 and is now reversing. And that's the kind of thing, like, don't get me wrong, like, you could have probably scalped that for a little bit there. And it doesn't mean the short has to work back into VWAP, but it's that punch long into overhead resistance, which if you've ever taken breakout trading, you probably had it happen to you, which is why I don't like taking that kind of a long. You're better off dip buying in that kind of a sequence than you are taking out that high of the day. So I elected for the short to the high and play it back to 6 and then the VWAP. We'll see if it works, but that long break could end up okay. It's just usually a tricky trade to be getting into because of that overhead resistance. Can be a little bit of trouble there. It's just the kind of thing that we see from time to time on momentum trace that upside. I see BON making some moves there, but I did want to come back over to Tesla because it's still gearing up. Well, that's the 15-minute. It's still gearing up for that break. It's not moving a heck of a lot. But I'll tell you this much, I kind of know what I'm looking for tomorrow on Tesla. And it's going to be this, it's a random price, but it's going to be this 870 to 872 area. Like the amount of relative strength that's showing above VWAP here, and then the selling that's coming into this, every single time it moves like $1 or $2 into that range. I just feel like if we clear that zone, Tesla does look pretty good. It's been so beaten up, obviously on the last couple of sessions. But if you look at it, it hasn't really broken any significant support levels, right? Like it's broken that 200 period, but you've got obvious 950, you've got the support here in 840, and you're diddling in the middle. So I feel like if it breaks 870, there's no reason why it couldn't come back to the 200 period moving average. If it fails that level, then we're headed to 850. So I kind of feel like this 870, 875 area, like it's got 25 bones in either direction. You just want to make sure you're taking it. Not enough time for it to maybe make that move today, but at some point you're going to get that big move on Tesla. And I think it's from here to 850 or here to 900. I don't care which way it is. I want to be playing that tomorrow morning. Brendo?
All right, a few things of note as we approach 40 minutes to go left in the day, guys. We were talking about some Chinese names showing relative strength. Overall, however, it's the NASDAQ that's leading to the downside. A lot of the Chinese names obviously listed on said NASDAQ. This list, this SEC list of possible delisting candidates being updated today to include this MOGU, Cheetah Mobile, Alibaba, and this BOQI, as we said, to kick things off. No real reaction as far as the stocks to that news today, but worth a note. This note also this morning, PDD showing all kinds of strength on that. They're considering a North American expansion, and that's why I bring this up. 4.5% right now for PDD, as we said. All kinds of strength in PDD. There's JD.com, 1.4%. Earnings to come. Down here, Baidu, 1.9%. Two classes of shares, NTES as well, 1.9%. But as far as this is the NASDAQ overall, as far as this board goes, all of these Chinese names, the only ones that are green, healthcare weak, industrials weak. Here's the tech group, if you want to call it that, in the NASDAQ, the entire thing. Semiconductors, software names on top, all in negative territory. So it's all about Chinese names heading towards Tuesday, guys. But NASDAQ leading here to the downside as we, as I said, approach 40 minutes to go.
I feel like that the tech group, if you want to call it that, is kind of like slapping them when they're down there. But oddly enough, Brendan mentioned some of the Chinese names, and Neo gets right back down toward that low of the day. So I did jump back in. You hit to slap the face.
I don't know where yours is, so I just like there. Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh, it's on your face. What if I hit mine?
Yeah, it's on your face. Yeah.
Well, not really though.
No, you know why? It's not for this shot. Do the single shot again, Rob. No. It needs to be the one where you have the charts on the side.
Oh, do the one with the chart.
I don't know, the one where we're, yeah, there it is, see? Oh, punked. But mine should work, right, Rob? Oh, no, wrong side again. Yeah, of course. Okay, so we'll...
so they're reversed. So basically, it should be the other way around. Anyway.
Nice one, Fahad.
There was an idea, because what would happen is like, if we're getting smoked on a stock, you'd see the chart and then you could see.
Yeah, and then we like slap ourselves around. But you said that. So, but what we are doing though, yeah, let's talk about this market here because the market just came back in again, and like we said, we were a little bit nervous about the long hitting, but that never came in, and we were going to short. I told you 92.90 was our next level here for AMD, short into 93. That never came in, but then I also did say that we have to take some profit when it does come. So there we go. This is for Fahad. Little belly dancing action coming through here. Again, because there goes AMD to the downside, and yes, sir, nicely done there. 92.50, AMD bringing it back in right now. So I said last time we didn't take advantage of every time that it dipped. So this time AMD does dip in, and we do take profit on that play. So we're getting lighter on these, but so far so good. There was one name that I wanted to talk about, and we got sidetracked there, and now I can't get it. So,
we were talking about DraftKings.
Yeah, I know, but I sort of did my DraftKings spiel there. It's okay; it doesn't really matter. We'll look for some more here as we go. But Alibaba's fallen in a little bit. We just took our first position here. We said that we were going to look at this as a bottom, right? And so obviously Brendan comes with some more. Alibaba's never going to get listed in a delisting thing, I don't think. But again, Alibaba does kind of fall with these. So let's go a little more long now if we can. We just tried to punch 83s, we missed. So if we do get a fill down here, 83 would be pretty sweet. I'm still going to use it against this 89.70. If 89.70 breaks, then we will get the heck out of here and not worry about it. But I like this as a spot here, 89, 83 or so, just halfway in this push down spot. So if Alibaba comes in and takes out this shelf of 89.70, I mean, this is what it looks like today. So I feel like this has been pretty good. A lot of these names, like, look, if it didn't have any buyers, like, I don't think it would have gone to 91 in the first place when we opened up at 89. So let's see if it dips back down in. That very bottom was 89.40. If you really want to get spicy, you can hold until then. For me, I'm going to wait for this break here, 89.70. So let's see if that can hold. I'm hoping that it does, but wow, darn it, we missed that long. I might get a little bit, what am I long at, 97? All right, we'll just try to get an 87 there. But anyways, here goes Alibaba right back up to the upside. Good takes on AMD though now, because that is starting to go back up. So that was a good one there at 52.
Yeah, I'm actually going to hit some of the ones that I haven't hit in a while, so I'm curious. Like that's one of the oldest ones we have. That is not that good. Then there's this one here, which is more like easy peasy lemon squeezy, easy peasy mac and cheesy were the two of them that were there. And there's nothing necessarily easy about trading the small caps or anything like that. Trust me, like these are dangerous types of plays in terms of trying to structure a trade. But as I said, fail break, allow it to trap longs. So trap long 625, because anybody, what I was getting here is like anybody looking at only today is seeing a trend up, high of the day break late in the session, power hour high of the day break, it's going to go upside. But instead, it rejects the lower high, comes back in. I took first level out in front of 6 even. I want to play this one down into VWAP, but that's starting to work here. Nathan, thank you for the super chat. We've seen you on the chat there before. Love the show. Do you guys ever attend any trading conferences or trade shows? Do we have any recommendations? So, no, I've never attended one. The thing about being a prop trader is you're kind of just at your desk, and when you're not, like, if you're not trading and you're not on the floor trading, then you're taking a vacation from trading. So I can't say that I've ever been to one, although I hear there's a very fantastic convention that occurs all the time in a certain city called Las Vegas, which I've always been wanting to visit. So, you know, I would not object whatsoever if at some point Trader TV Live wanted to send some representatives down to Las Vegas on the company dime, let's just say, so that I could finally get to go to Vegas.
They should just send me and leave you here.
that ain't right, man. Could you imagine?
No, I think we both go. I think the whole team should go, man.
I would love to go to Vegas. We talked about Vegas. Okaba's breaking down, by the way. It's just stock.
We'll just leave Prad here. Prad can hold the fort here, and then Prad in Vegas might be spicy. Too spicy for Vegas.
Why'd I even go long this stupid Kaba again?
I don't know. I hate these stocks, man.
So here's the thing. Like I was sitting in the long this entire time off 65. It's up there, will not break 2. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll still like the long in front of 165. But the problem is the way that it comes down to that. Look what happens. It rejects the high again, and then it puts death candle in. So when you get the fill, you're basically just instantly getting stopped out. The better way to play is allow it to do that move and then see where it tries to support. Like, can it support 150? Then jump into the long on the way back up. And anyways, that's just sort of like the frustration of how it's annoying. Like I got in at 68 and punched out here at 64. But it's more the fact that I could have just not had a fill in there at all. If it holds that level, get back in if it holds 165, or wait for it to get to 150. Sort of, this stock in particular has been pretty dirty. But anyways, yeah, Vegas, that'd be fantastic. I'd love to do that at some point. I'm sure I'll get my chance to do it. I'm not really that salty about it. I'm just like moderately salty about that fact. There's a whole story behind that I've told like 3 times. I'm not going to tell it again, so I won't labor you guys with that. Apron, last out's going to be in front of VWAP because the trend is still up. I think that's pretty clear to see. Like you can see, it's still in an upward trend. This is just a fail break of the high of the day. So playing it back into 590 in VWAP is pretty much all I'm looking to do there. Micron, I got the reload on Micron. Load. There we go. I got the reload on Micron when it did that little bump to the upside, but then it failed through 58 even. So it got to 58.05 here when the market made a fresh low. That's kind of telling me that it's running out of steam, like bouncing off those highs. At 3:30, I'll take another leg out there and then see if it can break 58 to go to the low of the day. I mean, leaning on the chips, it doesn't matter which one you... They've all been pretty weak, and at least I should mention this. We keep saying NVIDIA, like it's the only one reporting. Of course, they're the bigger name that reports, but I'm pretty sure Marvell does also report at the end of the week, after NVIDIA at least. I'll double check that. I think it's like on maybe Thursday or Friday, but Marvell I think is the other one left to report. And they're not going to move the market, but they're a pretty solid trade the day that they do report at least. So we'll go back to them at some point. NEO was the other short that we're in. It's just right back to that is 1890 area, trying to bounce a couple of times. If the market makes a fresh low, I'm hanging out near that low from the morning. The best we could ever get was 1880. I'll get some more out at 1880 if it ever goes back down to that price. It looks like it's starting to fall. Drug is catching a small, tiny, somewhat of a bid here. It did fail $2. It was a bit of a death candle through 2. It's right back above that $2 level. This feels like a trade for tomorrow. Above $2, maybe there's some longs to be had there. I think certainly the first look at 250 would be as big resistance, and then obviously that 350 level is pretty big. I don't know about $3. I don't think I'll be trading off that level. It'll be 250 and 350 for me on DRUG that I'll care more about there. What is Marvel? Oh, so it's not I'm not talking about the Marvel character from Captain Marvel, which is like the Kree warrior. It's MRVL.
You're not talking about the Kree warrior?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
When I was younger, the very first comic I actually owned, or graphic novel, was the Captain Marvel graphic novel. It was actually one of my favorite characters. The movie's different because they use a different version. They don't use the real version or the original version of Captain Marvel when they made that movie recently. So it's a different one, which I think is a little bit more interesting, the backstory. Anyways, Marvel is it's a semiconductor company. Not one of the bigger ones, but it's more of a growth name in the NVIDIA kind of side there. Not doing anything different from the rest of the space. Actually, getting to a pretty interesting level at 50 even, but they happen to report at the end of the week, at last I checked. I will double check to make sure I'm not just talking out of my ass there, but they can move, and there'll be a good trade, I think, after they do in fact report. Probably just a good trade if this breaks 50 even. Like now that I'm looking at this level on the daily chart, if the chips stay weak, 50 break on this looks very interesting to the downside there. I mean, I guess a hold of support is pretty good as well, but yeah, Marvel certainly worth a look this week.
Yes, sir. All right, so AMD's falling down here. Apple's continuing to fall down. So Apple kind of resisting the bigger move right now. So I should take that back. Actually, it's not continuing. It is just more AMD that is right now at this little bottom spot right there. Alibaba, we have reloaded it, so it did spit up to 90 there, close enough to it, 90, 89, 97 or so. Came pretty close there, but we're going to have to watch out for that 90 break. I still want to support this back down to 80, 89, 70, so that's another name to look at. Let's check out AMC, and unfortunately, we did have the shorts all day on this until we took it on the show, where we went long, and it just dropped 1070. But look what happened since it dropped that.
Oh, look at
that 1070, yeah. Ape's going to go down to the downside as well, but there it goes, man. AMC might be done for a while. It sucks that this is back to 10, but remember, this is not a true 10 because you have 10 plus Ape equals 15. So AMC really back into $15. Now, they really, honestly, like if I was a shareholder right now, I'd be a little bit concerned about some of the messaging that was coming through on what exactly they were planning to do with these Ape shares. I'd have to look into it. Like, I don't know if the messaging was confusing or everybody just confused what was happening, because it was supposed to be spun off as like a special dividend, and instead they split the stock with Ape. So I don't know.
No, but it's exactly as it was said.
That's what I'm saying.
And
like,
in defense,
it just wasn't looked at carefully enough.
I don't usually look at, like, I'm not big reading Wall Street Bets, but there was, and it wasn't like an AMC thread, but when I came in this morning, I did find it was a Wall Street Bets thread that was actually specifically just sort of saying, like, you realize it's 1-to-1, add these two together. They're just diluting the stock. And there were a lot of people online sort of saying that. And that's why I just came in saying, okay, we'll add the two together, indicated open price, price of AMC, go to AMC levels and play off of those. So it made sense to me, and I think a lot of people did understand it. Maybe there was just like wishful thinking in there, but it was done to dilute. That was the entire purpose. And I think that it was done because they couldn't get the vote to actually do a traditional offering. Like, that's where this whole thing came from. So it is unfortunate in some regard, but Ape has only gone down since the open. Ever since it stopped halting, it's just been trending to that downside, which has made it difficult for anything else but downside action on AMC as well. I'm going to get out of MindMed. I'm going to start having to cover some of these things. It's now 3:32, by the way, so we're getting close to the end of the day here, where we have to be flat at the end of the day. Certainly Microsoft, there's that 277.50, so I'm long at 63. This could be the shortest-lived offensive and a 13-cent hit on Microsoft if we hit fresh lows. But I did want long in front of 277.50. It just took a while. Brendo?
I just saw Starbucks popping up here on some volume, guys, back through 84.5 there. Apparently, Kramer talking up Starbucks, getting into Starbucks.
Whatever, man. I mean, Kramer can honestly, like, it doesn't, I mean, I've watched Kramer a lot, and I think Starbucks is probably a great value at certain points for damn sure. But I ain't trading. I'm making my own decisions here every single day, which I think is why you guys like it. And we're going to go bangers up again today, man. We've been shorting AMD all day. And here's another one. We shorted this right when we came on. And, I mean, look where this is now, 92.39. I mean, have I led you guys astray? I don't. So far, so good, man. That's why I stick my neck out every single day and put stuff like this. And so does Kramer. So it's not, it's not like sometimes you make calls and they're wrong, right? I mean, I give trading ideas on the sticky note every single day. We have the watch list coming out, which starting today was starting to get thrown out to people's inboxes, which is fantastic. But I mean, here it is right here today. We talked about why we wanted to short certain names. And I mean, right here, it was AMD. We wanted this short all day long. So now the fact that it's at 92.40 is printing. And we also talked about the short thesis starting to play out here in the market. And by the way, that's when the NASDAQ was down like 1.4% or so. We've now doubled that down to 2.8 and continuing to march lower. So yeah, our takes today, like 35 cents in the money on AMD, and that's just been printing all afternoon. And not only that, but we also had the short earlier in the morning right here, 95.80 or something, 94.80, and then again here, 94.82. Like these were all trades. They're not showing up here, but these were all trades that we had this morning, which has been great. And then we start off this show basically by just shorting Apple. And I mean, it broke that 168. And again, a level that's on that, there's 50 cents for you. Merry Christmas. I mean, it's just the shorts have really started to print today. And here it comes back down to the downside. Like Roblox was one that we got out of. Probably should have shorted that near the high. This has been pretty strong. So if tomorrow, there's certain notes we make every day, and like Roblox today, even though it's still down exactly what the market's down, I feel like this has been strong today, despite obviously a monster move early and then a huge fade right away. But you've stopped at this 41.25, 41 area. So this is going to be interesting for me tomorrow if we open up around here and I get the Spideys on me, thinking that this market is going to go back up to the upside. I definitely want to be in this name. And then we also, the other name that was on that list there, of course, that we don't have is Oxy, and we talked about buying this one today, especially off those 67 dips. I mean, it only went 30 cents away from that, but more importantly, I was talking about 68.50, which again, you would have had to hold it there. I wasn't buying it here. It would have been a great buy the second time, and the lowest it went was 68.30. So, now you're in about $1 winner on that one. So, although the market seems like it's tough, it's not really that tough if you take a bigger picture on this. And right now, my opinion is sell side. So I'm going to continue to look for those opportunities every single day. I mean, PayPal's back down to $93 right now, and Tesla $870. So we'll wait, man. Amazon $133, like those shorts at $140, $144. How cash are those? And then unfortunately, Nvidia back down to $170 as well. Those up near $190. Same kind of thing. But here we go. The market's your boy's green obviously today. So put another feather in the cap, and we'll just see what happens here the rest of the day. Only now, Neil, 25 minutes left.
Yeah, less than 15 to the imbalances. Look, on Starbucks, I'm going to pull it up because I'm interested just on the timing of it. We all remember the Boeing thing, but I look at Starbucks, I pulled it up, and I'm like, look at this thing on the daily chart. If this breaks $84, I mean, okay, 50 periods next, like $3 gap to the downside potentially. This is a big level it's trying to bounce through. So, yeah, Starbucks just got on my alert list to short through 84. It's nothing. This has it's a complete coincidence. I didn't even look at the stock today. I could have pulled it up for any reason and seen the same thing at $84. It just so happened that it was somebody mentioning it for a bullish reason. I look at the chart and say if it gets below 84, this thing has a chance to break down at least $2 or $3. I do have the one long position. We'll see how long it lasts here. I'll zoom back in because these wicks on Microsoft. There we go. Let's try to clean it up, right? Like that 277.50 higher low, it bounced off that. This wick, I don't even think it went to 278. It got some out about 85 or so. So a little bounce there. If it plays back up to this lower high, that's like 278.25, we'll get out of it. I think a nice little bounce play here. And it's not that I'm anticipating it's not going to go anywhere, but it was trying to put in a higher low when the market is at the actual low. So if it was on the low, different story, but it held that higher low. So play inside of the range because it's showing some signs that it doesn't want to break the bottom there. Microsoft is not any definition of a strong stock today. It is down 3%, but on a bare minimum, it held a higher low, which is a tiny, tiny bit of strength that we're able to sort of eke out there and trying to find a bit of a scalp long for you guys on Microsoft. I do look over. I mean, Tesla's not really doing anything. That APRN, for those that are bullish on this stock, doesn't quite make it down to 590. Now, it might here. I'm going to actually cancel this. So it might turn over on this lower high and get down into VWAP, in which case, wherever it slows down is where I'm just going to punch out of the stock. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to slap a trail on this at about like 615 to 620, somewhere in that range. Because look, it's in an upward trend. The short off that failed breakout at the high of the day, it has worked, but it didn't pull back as far as I would have expected, which means it's a little bit stronger than I would have expected. And thus, we should make sure that on the last of the shares, you don't give it all back. I'm not going to allow this to go to the high of the day at this point. That would make a heck of a lot of sense.
No. All right. So, yeah, look. You guys want me to mention, we haven't had this in a while, the People's Trader right here. I'm going to put this up. I don't know where to put it. We'll put it somewhere. We'll put it right here for now. So you guys can see this. Look, I don't know what everyone's saying about Ape right now because,
it halted apparently.
Yeah, so I don't know. We're having halt problems with Ape and AMC shares right now, which is why I lost the $10 million this morning, which I didn't. Everything's fine. Everything's been repriced. Everything's good to go. But I don't know. I guess it halted right here is what everyone's talking about. So there's a halt right there. And again, remember why it halts. So that has to go 52 cents, which it did go. It went exactly. It didn't. There was nothing fishy there, man. It does go up. It halts on volatility, then just reopens like normal. So remember, when you go up like that, 52 cents almost. But I mean, then because that was almost halted to the downside, right? But it didn't. So
that's
you gotta wait for some of those moves. Like here's again, boom.
That's not 10%.
There's the move up, and there's the halt. Well, this is pretty close to 10%, right? 520. That's 52 cents, and then it halts.
62.
62. So
that's 42 cents.
Oh, 520. Yeah. Okay.
See,
so
this is why I can't trust.
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah, okay, so my math was wrong there. I was using $5 as the bottom, but no, it's 520 plus 52 cents. So yeah, so maybe it shouldn't halted there. Yeah, I don't know. You guys are right. Like again, and it was that even 5 minutes. That's 33. Reopen again 38. So they did open it in 5 minutes. I mean, we could check the NASDAQ halt page. It'll say halted for volatility, but I don't want anybody to think like there's something up. It's not like Citadel or the rest of the world can like all of a sudden just halt a stock. I mean, it has to come from the exchange. So, there are rules that are involved there. So Ape is now open and starting to go back up to the upside. So yeah, we are going to talk about it, man. We're not one of those shows. Like we're not trying to hide anything. The only thing that I'm trying to tell you is that right now, part of my contract is to do something like this. Money. So, I mean, Alibaba goes back into the money. We're 3 for 3. We got Alibaba longs. Right now, we got AMD short, which is 25 cents in the money, as that's starting to go back down as well. And then we did get a nice little move down on Apple, which is respecting that short that we have on right here as well, off of 168, now 50 cents in the money. So, yeah, man, we're ready to rock and roll here as we go. My eyes are always looking up because, well, by the way, Wish is back to $1.36. That's pretty interesting. Intel continues its move down 4.5%. Yeah. Oh, Mullen this morning. Remember I was talking about Mullen at 77 cents? I have no idea where this is right now. So back down to 70. Okay, so remember what the play was that I talked about earlier? And that is that Mullen's respected this 75 spot here a couple times. I got to zoom in a little bit more. Right here, while today it looks like we will for the first time since May close below 75 cents. Now there's still 18 minutes to go, but now that you're down here at 71, I am a little nervous about Mullen here. I feel like if you are in this name, look what happened last time. We touched 50 before busting to 2. So if you are thinking about this now, I would probably get out. Wait to see. You still have 18 minutes, but a little bit lower than this, man. You're going to continue to break down, and then the next stopping point for anybody looking to load anything up would probably be 54 cents. So hopefully this is why you're watching Trader TV Live, for not only just some possible trade ideas, but like, oh God, we just got out of Apple. So as Apple moves down, yes sir, looks like we'll spin the money one more time. Yeah, back to the low of the day. And your boy's been talking short all day. So really happy with the way this is working out. Of course, our Alibaba is still long. But right now, I would just be very, very careful because as people sit there tonight, look at their portfolios, look at charts and whatnot, they may notice that this is broken back below. So the next leg down is that. And yeah, Apple. Okay, well, no wonder why I'm out. Apple hits some of these prices. And you continue to go low. We'll take 70 cents on that one. So it's a chicken dinner winner here for you guys tonight. And man, are we having fun on this closing show. Good trading so far here today, man. We're going to go basically 4 for 4. Oh, we did lose a little bit on our Roblox, which would now be in the money, but I'm okay losing on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to start covering. It's now 3:43, so 7 minutes to imbalances. I just got some more Neo out at 90s there. Look, it looks like that 19 level is not running too far away from that price. But context, you mentioned Wish. I don't know what made you bring up Wish. But on the daily chart, it is right at this lower high at 135. It's exactly the kind of price where if it sits there for 2 days, then a long off 36, 37 with a 135 stop becomes appealing. Even if it only goes 10, 15 cents, you're only going to end up risking 2 or 3. I always like that kind of a level. The last time it got here, it sat there for 2 or 3 days. Just because it did before doesn't mean it will again. Clearly, I'm gonna love a heck of a lot more when the stock gets to $1 because dollar levels can be exciting. Whether they break them, whether it holds, it's a good level for these types of names. I'm not saying it has to go to $1. I'm just saying if it goes to the dollar, that's what I'll be looking for. It looks like APRN. Yeah, APRN just got down to that 95 level. Whoops. I went over to it and sort of got out. And then I'll slide back over. So it gets down to that 95 level again, like exactly where it bounced before at 92s, catches a bit of a bid at 95, so I'm not out of this one. It did work out for the short side of the trade. And the thing about it is it's a strong moving stock, but when you look at it from 3 o'clock at power hour, like where's the trade? If you took a long, okay, fine, you could have this long in here, maybe you're trying to get it up to 35, but usually when you're taking something up that high, you're probably wanting to risk it back to support. So that's like 60 cents worth, and it only went to a very small amount. Probably went from there like 20 cents. So what I like about looking for the short there is you know you're going to have a defined out at that 42 level, and then you know where your risk to reward is going to be. It's tricky, even if the momentum is strong, buying off the actual high of the day, and then how do you end up structuring that trade? It does look like, I see like, actually Alibaba, I have a trailing stop on this. At like, here we go, like at about 90.10. Looks like it might take that one out there, Alibaba going sideways, kind of like NEO is toward the end of the day here. And don't forget, it's XPeng that reports tomorrow morning. This is the one, I know I'm looking at NEO today and we're looking at Alibaba. This is the one we want to look at tomorrow morning. Not doing much of anything here today, but XPeng is down like a good 70% from the recent highs here and has been testing towards its actual lows down around 20 bucks. This should be a good one tomorrow in either direction. I mean, support at 18 even. You got the 50 period sitting up there at 26, 27 in case it ramps to the upside. XPeng's going to be on our radar. Going to have to trade this one instead of NEO tomorrow.
Thanks, Sam Jack there. Yeah, oh, by the way, like, my wife makes coffee every morning, so this was made at like 7 o'clock, and it's still warm.
Yeti's no joke.
Yeti, still warm. Coffee from 7 o'clock this morning. So shout out to my lovely wife as well. Okay. Follow me on Twitter, by the way. I put up some pictures this week, and we had a lot of fun. Date night, and then we went again on Saturday night, which was a lot of fun as well, meeting up with some of the boys. So we had a great time on that. Okay. So, not really sure what to talk about anymore because honestly, we're out of our Apple. And we already, I mean, this was something that we pegged at 8 o'clock. We put out our sticky note. We said, watch out for that 168 break. So when that happened, that was about as easy of a trade for me probably ever. It hit 168 and never bothered to come back. So when it did, we just reloaded it at 80, and then now it's at 20s. So that was a good one for us. Also, we had on the sticky note as well, we only had 3 names on there, and they were Oxy, we had AMC, but then we had Oxy, AMD and Apple, right? And so we traded all 4 of those today, all 3 of them. AMD to the downside and just keeps on cranking. So we still have shares on this one as that's going down. But what I was going to say is thanks, Sam. Yeah, we did fix that, and that was obviously a glitch. We talked about me getting shut down on AMC when it was during the halt state. So we didn't lose $10 million. We are actually green on the day. So really proud of that, being green on the day today, because again, you know, we were short AMC when that did happen. So we got punched out at $500,000 per share rate here when this happened. And of course, the highest it ever got today, according to this anyways, is $13. So everything got repriced, and we jamming now, so I can sleep in the bed and not on the couch. So that's pretty important. And we'll watch out for that. But there's AMC out. And this afternoon, we tried the long, and that just didn't print for us. So this is the one negative trade that we have on here, this afternoon. All right, Alibaba. Oh.
Tesla again?
Yeah, maybe Tesla. But
no,
there goes that.
So people keep asking about Tesla.
There goes Alibaba.
Tesla's not moving. It's doing nothing.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know what? The NASDAQ really isn't moving that much. I mean, we're down 2.8, which is pretty decent there for the NASDAQ. But for right now, not much really happening here. So there's the NASDAQ. There's Alibaba, $90.06. There's another out for us. Yes, sir. You know what, man? Like, we're just gonna drop the money because honestly, like some of these calls that we've had on board today, it's like we can see clearly now because the rain has actually gone outside. And then you can see this up to 90.10 now. So here goes Alibaba. We hit these longs back there against this bottom. So look, we'd like to take out more profit with only 1 minute to go till imbalances. Very, very difficult spot right now, but we'll wait to see a nice little take there at 90.10 there for Alibaba. And then for those of you that are on my Twitter, thank you so much. Here we go, man, smoking the Cubans here. And then this one got a lot of love too. And man, did I marry up. So very, very lucky for that one. Over 200 likes on that. So thank you so much. Make sure you follow me at Trader TV Sean, not Shan, not Shane. Trader TV Sean.
Shane O'Mac.
Yeah, buddy. Here comes the money.
But he's not the one that's taking over.
Here comes the money.
It's Stephanie is taking over for Vince McMahon, apparently. That's what I heard. I mean, I don't really follow it much anymore, but obviously I know Vince had to step down. I'm all out of Micron. It's imbalance is coming in like 10 seconds or so, and it bounced again off 58. So we'll get out of this one. Doesn't look like it wants to break any lower, but as I said, those imbalances coming through in just a matter of seconds there. So wanted to make sure we didn't have too much on, that we didn't have stops. Ape with a 10 million sell imbalance. AMD's to buy for 1 million shares. I don't know, Citigroup is 1 million to buy, but APE for now 7 million shares to sell. That's already starting to roll over here. Did I even pay for low? Could we? I don't even know if we could short this stock, to be honest with you. Ape. Yeah, I don't know.
Remember, it wasn't even like tradable in our system.
No, I think they blocked it.
They might have blocked it early, and then they.
I think it's unblocked. I just can't short it.
I wouldn't worry about it. Well, it's only 10 minutes
left. It's like
left.
350. Yeah, it's 350. It's too late. It's too late.
Oh, baby. Home run as the Blue Jays play. Nice little weekend tilt there with the Yankees. Make up a little bit. We went from plus 3,200 to win the East to plus 1,900. So still 19 to 1. But okay, there it is. Look at Alibaba. Yes, sir, man. Spin the wheel of fortune, and it comes up jackpot one more time. Oh yeah, because it always comes up jackpot when I do that. So maybe we have to get a different one. But there's Alibaba, nice little move right back to VWAP. So hey man, we can get something out if we want. But that's a nice little call there back up to the upside as those imbalances have come out. 1.3 billion to the sell side. So big kind of sell there. Thank you to Financial Juice for that. Who we've had on. Do we have Financial Juice guy coming again? Yeah. Brendan goes thumbs up on that one. I apologize that the name is slipping my mind.
That's Tony, right?
But yeah, he's coming on later on this week. So that should be a lot of fun. And yeah, thank you for those guys for that update there on the market on balance close.
This is like 21 million now? What the actual?
Ape has that many shares
it's
to sell?
It's huge. It's 18 million shares to sell. But it's all over the place, man. It just went from 21 to 18 to 10 to 5 million
well,
back
the stock
to
is
11.
ripping.
Yeah, it's going all over the place. Like, you can see like what's happening is when it went from 18 to 6, on the imbalance, it just ripped to the upside. But the only thing I'm willing to do, because it's actually 2 cents a share to short, is just to look to see if it's still a really big sell imbalance like near the end. Maybe there's a playoff of this 7 or something along those lines. But Ape going Ape to
like
end of the day. I mean, that's had to say that at least once today, it went the entire day without trying to give you that terrible pun.
There we go.
Even when it was going crazy.
Fly the apes.
Yeah, but
I don't know if we've hit that either.
No, I haven't hit it. But, well, I mean, look. AMC's been going downside all day long. Ape's been going downside all day. But the only reason it's popping there is that imbalance shot from 20 million to 6 million to sell. That's a huge drop, indicating it's probably going to get paired off. At least it seems like it's going to get paired off. I shouldn't predict. I can't tell you if it's getting paired off. It just looks like it's going to get paired off.
All right. I mean, there's Alibaba again, like another big W right there. Now 30 cents in the money, took that one. We'll see. SQQ is working as well. Good call on that one. Ape is going bananas. That's a good one.
That's a good one. I like that.
For sure, man. How did you guys know that? Dream Ride Music. Sean is going to have sausage and peppers tonight for dinner. That is pretty much right. I spoke to my wife about, she's like, well, what's going on for dinner? And I was like, yeah, let's grab some sausage. I'll throw them on the barbecue. But maybe we should put down some nice sweet peppers, roast those up, have those on the side as well. That's a great call. Probably some tomato. Our garden is like going ham right now. And I apologize to my mother if you're watching, because I told her I'd bring her some cucumbers and I forgot them on the table when I left. So I'll get you, Mom, pretty soon some cucumbers. Our cucumbers
Someone just jokes, like, how do you know? Because they're at your house.
Going nuts, man. What was that?
Oh no, just a joke in the
Oh,
chat.
okay. But
AMC, by the way, AMC does not have an imbalance that's significant. It's actually a small buy imbalance on AMC. I just want to make sure you guys realize it's not both sell imbalances. Only APE is the sell imbalance.
Yeah. And yeah, as I said, now I can't get that out of my head. And as that stock is going bananas, like that was on the
That's
chat.
better. It's a
and
better
I was literally
pun.
stealing it from the chat. So
It's
I
a
don't
way
wanna-
better pun.
Don't want to do. Yeah, it's pretty good. What did you say? Ape is going. What did you say? It's going ape.
It's going APE.
Yeah,
Like, that's
yeah.
not
Yours is
even-
not as good
no,
as that.
that's
but
not
still,
even.
yours
It
feels
doesn't
still
even
pretty good.
count, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, no, well, it still counts.
Eight's
But anyways,
going
find relative strength is what I'm getting at here when we talk about Alibaba, right? We knew it was going downside, but it was not going down with the market. So you find the relative strength there, and let me guess, when I check in on Roblox, that's probably taking off a little bit here. I mean, it took off from that bottom, but still, Roblox very, very quiet here this afternoon and not moving much with only 5 minutes left. So I think you got some very, very big earnings calls tomorrow, including Zoom, right? I mean, Zoom is down to $97. Like, what is the very bottom? Did this hit 65? For some reason, I've got 65 in my mind about Zoom, but this daily, of course, is not working. I don't know how low we even got. Oh, it was 85 maybe? So that's going to be the very bottom, 78 there for Zoom. So this is a very, very interesting name. Look where Zoom is touching right now, $96. Remember, this, like if Zoom reported 2 weeks ago, and it reported the worst quarter of all time, it probably would have gone up 30%. But right now, I feel like people are just hitting growth stocks. They don't care what you're going to say. So Zoom, unfortunately, my friends with Zoom, you missed it by a couple weeks, because if you reported a Palantir quarter or a Micron quarter, like Neil said with Intel, not Intel is obviously more of a blue chip name, obviously, but and so is Micron, but some of these other names that really didn't have great quarters, Unity and things like that just shot up. I don't think the same fate could happen for Zoom. But remember, Zoom is also a legit company with revenues and tons of them. So this should be a very, very interesting name. Let's go over to Brendan and discuss more of this, I think.
That and more to come, including we're back into the retail group as well, guys, on the squeeze side. Macy's M coming tomorrow.
Yeah, like I said, I think XPeng certainly is going to be there, but let's not sleep on the retail. Like both Macy's, which has, I think it's like 9% short interest at this point. Dick's, I'm not sure what Dick's Sporting Goods is at, but JD.com, the Chinese names have been moving today. I'd expect JD to show us some good levels. But Zoom and XPeng are certainly the two that are on my radar. XPeng, that 18 bottom that it recently put in there, it's got 26 to 50 period moving average, which will come into play. Yeah, we get a few Canadian banks. I mean, I guess if we hold them, you might be interested in those. I think it's like RBC and Scotiabank today, but you can see the big ones on that board. Zoom in the morning, along with XPeng. I thought XPeng was in the morning, but I guess maybe it is. It said after the bell there. Oh, that's right. It's overnight, so.
Yeah, after the bell before. Yeah, okay. So and I was just looking up all of those names. As you were going through them, I was trying to find a name that had a big short interest. None of them. Like you said, Macy's was probably the highest at 9. XPeng, I'm looking up right now, is 3. Zoom is 5. So yeah, not much happening there as we go. So Alibaba faded out a little bit. I mean, we're already out of everything here on Alibaba. We have 20% left, but a big move down. It's kind of crazy to hold your positions. Let's just get out right now. I mean, like I said, I'll take an 06 out here. If we can get it, let's just offer it and see if it hits us. Into the close, we do have those imbalances coming off, and it was 1.4 billion to sell or whatever. So that's slowly going to pair off.
Ape did tank eventually.
Oh yeah. Why don't we go over to Ape? Does it still have the imbalance?
It's now down to 8 million shares. It is pairing off. Like the sell imbalance is getting smaller, but the longer it stayed, eventually it rolled over here. And about 2.5 minutes to go, it went from 680 down into 620. Still about 8 million shares to sell, which is not the 21 that it was before. I see Tony. By the way, Tony doing a fantastic job, coming in and doing that midday show. Feeling a little bit, I think, under the weather himself, barely at his voice, but doing yeoman's work there to be sure. I'll be just watching Ape. If this imbalance does stay, I can't see why it wouldn't blow some levels to the downside. It's done 62 million shares, but 9 million into 62 is a lot. So I would expect if they can't pair that off, there should be some selling in Ape. Just expecting it is going to pair off. It keeps getting a little bit smaller at a time here. 359 should be pretty interesting.
I've already told Tony that we owe him drinks, and now I feel like we owe him a keg after the work that he's been doing. So
or
shout
dinner
out,
or something.
Shout out to you. Wow, yeah, we don't have to.
We don't have to get him sauce, right?
It could be dinner. I think we should do that for
in between
sure.
there, right?
For that, you like steak, Tony? Okay, he loves steak.
That's the right answer.
Okay. you'll be seeing some nice pictures coming through very soon on that one with Tony and all of us hopefully going to a local steakhouse near you.
Just
near
not a
us.
certain one
Sorry,
that you know
near,
we're
not
not
near
going to.
you guys. Yeah, I don't want to publicly, no. We need to get a sponsor first and then we'll go to the steakhouse. No, just playing around. We'll throw around some money for that one. Thank you so much, Tony, for that one as well. But okay, yeah, minute and a half. I'm excited to see what does happen with Ape. You can see here, I think the quote is fine, man. 620? What? I mean, that makes sense.
Yep.
And a quick check-in on AMC. So you want to add both of them, right? So this is not the disastrous day that you're thinking. 1050 plus 650, you're going to get that back to 17 real quick. So just watch out here. Ape coming out right now. There is a big imbalance on it. Neil's been mentioning. My balance locator won't show anything today, but there it goes, 620 upside. We're going to watch out for that with only now 45 seconds to go in what is going to be a negative day, man. I mean, we talked about that over and over today. This was kind of an easy play for me today, going short on a lot of these names. We've made a lot of good calls on that, and I hope that you guys are able to enjoy the show. And by the way, man, hit the like. If I check this like and it's under 1,000, okay, it's at 1K. That's good. See if we can get a little more likes, man. Over 4,700 people watching. If you haven't done that yet, please do it. You know, that's what we're doing. This is a free show, and we're here to give you education every single day.
Absolutely. Oh, it looked like it was about to pair off completely, and then it came back to 5 million shares. So we'll see what happens at the close. Going into hit the bounce. There we go. 7-6. Tony in 5, 4, 3, 2, and ring it. So
Yes, sir. All right, go ahead.
Close here. No, just
I think it printed sixes. Looks like. To
yeah,
me.
it looks like
a shit ton of. I mean, a big time. No,
there's a huge volume spike. It looked like 606 maybe.
Oh, did it? Okay. Okay.
It's kind of like it's still trading a lot, right?
Might have not. I see some T prints, which is NASDAQ with a few million shares there. So it may have not printed yet. So okay.
It stayed a sell imbalance though.
Yeah. Either way, I mean, you can get out right now at 6 and change, so low sixes if you're in Ape right now. It looks like it's printing 610 with some ARCAs and some bats and whatnot coming off right now. So okay, that is it, man. We've gone bananas today, Brendan. Where did we finish on the broad scale of things?
A lot of red on this board. It's not great. I'll forewarn you here, but there we go. 2.7 for the NASDAQ, 2.2 for the S&P, about 2% for the Dow. But hey, after what happened from June to last week or so, could be worse, right?
Oh, certainly could be. If you look at that chart, I think the big and I have Bitcoin up here. Like you said, like Ether. Probably making the bigger move there. Like as I try to get it up like last minute, it was down significantly, but it's more about like where it came from. I always look at a higher time frame chart. So I'll pull up like a 15-minute just to give an idea of what it was doing here today. Like it actually has managed to bounce off of some of those lows, but it has not been a fantastic session. So Ether coming back in. It was so strong after the split, or in the update. So probably going to come back at some point. I think Ape is going to be interesting to watch tomorrow. Again, it was a unique experience to see how Ape and AMC did trade together sometimes, or at least most of the time, and then the Hulse off the open. That imbalance at the end of the day there, the big sell imbalance, it did fall going into that, so it respected it. If it can hold this $5, maybe there's something to work off of tomorrow, but it was pretty much downside for the most part after a few early halts up on this stock. I mean, the trend was pretty clean outside of, right at the end of the day there, it tried to get up.
Yeah, it should be a good one, man. We'll be watching Zoom tomorrow. Obviously, we'll be watching, Palo Alto's a little bit expensive, but some of those Chinese names should be great trades as well. This trade of the day was AMC, so figure out how Neil talked about that. And again, we take that about 130. It was today, so you'll see on his charts the movements and whatnot. But hey, what a crazy day, man. I mean, hopefully we'll get some of these, not hopefully, the bugs are figured out. So we'll be back here tomorrow, and really exciting, man. We want to thank Trader Prad. We want to thank Tony. I can't thank anyone else because that's who did the midday show. Thank you to you for stepping up as well. And then we came back at 1:30.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we were on for a little extra time today. Looking forward to those sausage and peppers tonight. It should be a good one there. Are we doing the 3-pip or we're not doing that?
Like, why is Man U winning this game? Seriously.
Yeah, Man U. Well, ever since Elon wanted to buy Man U, maybe they're getting a little spicy on that one. Brennan, you know what you're having for dinner yet, or what goes on there?
Whatever I make, my friend, whatever I make.
Okay, it's one of those. All right. I see what you're saying there.
It's like that.
I see what you're saying there. Okay, but yeah, it should be.
I'm actually winning. My brother, he left because
Right.
they went back home, but he'd gotten
Did he
this.
drop-
No, he bought all this jerk chicken from the local place. That
So
he
you get the, like,
that
the
he didn't eat.
leftovers?
So there's like leftover rice
that's
and
so
peas,
good.
jerk chicken festival. There's some fried plantain. It's like he got so much. I'm like, you're not gonna eat all this. I'm just gonna eat it tomorrow. So thanks, Len. Love you, bro.
Leftover barbecue.
Dinner at
may
Neil's
taste-
house.
Yeah.
Ain't enough for
Thanks
you,
the
bro.
invite, bro.
I'm eating it all.
What do we- there ain't enough.
I'm eating it all. What do I look like?
But leftover barbecue might be better. Like reheating it, the way that the sort of the sauce kind of
It's delicious. I don't know
melts.
if
gets
it's
crispy.
better, but it's
It's never
delicious.
better.
It's
I mean,
delicious.
Heat
better.
it, but you got to heat it on, like reheat it on the barbecue again, not like just in the microwave. or
Insider tip.
Oh, I'm not microwaving it, man.
Insider tip. Okay, well, thank you guys. Thanks for watching. It was a fantastic day, I feel like. And thanks to Branko's beside us as well for working on the watch list and whatnot. It should be coming to an inbox near you as we test that out. So thank you for your patience on that one. But we are Trader TV Live. And guess what, Neil? We're back tomorrow at 8:30. So we will see you then. Have a great evening. Ciao.
See you.